Hey guys, Ethan Studios here, and welcome into this completely unscripted look at my entire LEGO Ninjago minifigure collection, starting all the way back with the pilots in 2011 and catching up to us here in 2025 with Dragons Rising Season 3 Part 1. Now, this is every minifigure in my personal collection, including all of the duplicates I've gotten from over the years, and according to some very rough math I did, this amounts to about 1,150 Ninjago minifigures. Now, do please keep in mind that this video is completely unscripted, like I mentioned earlier, meaning that in the 3 or so hours I spend talking about Ninjago minifigures, there are bound to be some mistakes along the way, so if you do catch any, be sure to post them in the comments below, just so things don't get mixed up. This collection has taken me a total of 13 years to build up, spans 6 large gray base plates, and like I mentioned, consists of over 1,000 minifigures, including all of my duplicates. Without any further ado, I'm sure you're all ready to see this. Let's take a look at this collection. Starting us off, we have base plate number 1 here of 6. That is a lot of minifigures to go through. Like I mentioned, over 1,000 minifigures in my Ninjago collection. This one is going to start with 2011 and move onwards. It's all going to be in timeline order as far as the show goes. So different figures like Rebooted Kai, which didn't come out until 2017, will be appearing in the Rebooted section because that's what that character is from. That's just how I'm organizing it for this video. It's a little bit different from the every minifigure ever. And then another one that's different is the way I'm organizing the ninja suits. Usually I would do it like pilot suits, DX suits, kendo suits. Instead, I'm just lining up whichever ninja. So Kai is going to be first. This is every Kai suit from this wave of sets in 2011, if that makes sense. Again, just another way I want to differentiate this from the every Ninjago minifigure ever collection videos. Now, this video is largely unscripted, so expect there to be a few mistakes along the way. As vast as my Ninjago knowledge is, I've been watching, reading, collecting this theme for 14 years now. I'm bound to make maybe 1 or 2 mistakes along the way. Now, starting us off, we have 2 of the original Pilot Kai minifigures here. A trend you're going to notice with a lot of the earlier years of Ninjago is I don't have as many repeat figures, and that is because of 2 main reasons. The first one is money. I was a kid when all of these came out. I did not have the same access to funds that I do now, because now I largely buy the whole set wave and I'm able to make content off of it, and that's how it kind of pays for itself, and that's how I get all of the repeat minifigs. Back then, I could just pick and choose, and then when I eventually did go back and get all the figures I was missing, there was no reason to buy like 5 Pilot Kais. Like, that would do nothing for me. So that's how that's going to work. The other reason is just because we didn't get as many duplicate figures back in the day. LEGO does that a lot more in their set waves these days, is lots of new duplicates of the ninja, mainly other characters sometimes, but mainly the ninja. So that's a trend you're going to see continue to change and evolve as we move on through the years. Now, again, this is my collection, so it's going to be however many of each suit I have, and I do have 2 of the Pilot Kais here. He is reusing this 1999 ninja mask. This was a LEGO theme that did not last for very long, but they kept this piece in rotation, used it for Ninjago's inception almost 12 years later. So I got 2 Pilot Kais here, and then we got DX Kai. Really love the DX suits. It's going to be that same face print underneath, and the thing about these is it has the name of the ninja on the back. Kai, these ones are a little bit rarer, so I only have 1 of those. The pilot suits, if I wanted, I could buy more for very, very cheap. These do not go for much on Bricklink. The DX suits, however, are a much different story, especially when we move on to some of the other ninja. And then Kendo Kai here is a very interesting figure. These were largely released in the Rise of the Serpentine 2012 wave, but the reason I have them with the pilot stuff is because this is the pilot suit. So I guess technically I have 3 Pilot Kais. The difference is they gave them this kendo armor and helmet. Now, to the best of my knowledge, this helmet was a brand new piece back in the day when it was introduced. The samurai armor here was a reuse, again, from the 1999 ninja theme. They drew a lot of inspiration in different pieces from that theme. So very, very cool. I would love to get some of those older sets one day just to be able to pay homage to what Ninjago's inception was like. Moving on, get these Kais out of the way. We've got Jay here. This is Jay's pilot suit. I really love how simplistic these pilot suits were. I think it works especially well for someone like Jay with this bright blue color. It just really stands out. I remember as a kid just being really drawn to these minifigures because not only their simplicity, but just the color that they gave off. It's like, this is very easy to look at and be like, that's the blue ninja, versus something now they have so many different colors, their suits are so complex. So looking back at something like this, it's just a guy in a blue ninja suit with some straps around him, and that's it. Like, I really appreciate that. The OG Jay face is one I've never liked. Jay was never angry like this in the show. At least if he was, it was very, very rare. He was always goofing around, no back printing, and from my knowledge, these are the only Ninjago minifigures that never got back printing, are the main ninja. I don't think the original Lord Garmadon did, and I don't think the original Wu did. Okay, we'll get to those in a second. But anyways, very interesting piece of knowledge there. The original pilot suits in Lord Garmadon are the only Ninjago minifigs without back printing. To be honest, they don't really need them. The classic ninja wrap piece goes around the back, and I did want to comment on these. I didn't get a chance to earlier, but I really love this part reusage. I think it works perfectly, and I love that they did eventually change it later on, because you can only use this piece so many times without armor. Anyways, we got Kendo J here, Rise of the Snakes minifig. DXJ is the rarest of the Dragon Extreme suits. That's what DX stands for. I believe this is a $40, $50, $60 figure, somewhere in there. Has his name on the back, as well as his elemental lightning symbol, which is an octopus. Very, very cool. I love the golden detailing on these DX figures. As you can see, it shines under the light. These are really, really beautiful figures. And then the printing continues down onto the legs. It's like the energy is just coursing through them. It's really, really cool stuff. Moving on to Cole. This is probably my least favorite of the OG pilot suit minifigures, just because he just looks like a generic ninja in that black color, but that is, I guess, the idea of it. The original Cole face still works very, very well with those big scruffy eyebrows there. Kendo Cole, of course, not too much to say about him. It's that original pilot suit. I still don't love the idea that Lego gave us these Kendo figures and was like, look, new minifigs, when technically they're all just reuses except for these new helmets. So that was interesting. We got the Cole minifig here with all that rock detailing. His dragon, of course, is named Rocky. Got his name on the back. Still my favorite detail of these OG DX suits is the names on the back there. Moving on to my favorite ninja, the Master of Ice himself, the robotic Nindroid. This is Zane here. I think the white really pops, much like Kai and Jay's, not so much like Cole's. You're going to see that brown strap across the suit that all of them have. This sash there down on the legs. Kendo Zane probably looks the best just because the Kendo helmet has that white in it, so it matches him just a little bit better than the other ninja. The last minifig we got for the ninja in the pilot's wave was DX Zane here. Again, these DX figures are a little bit beat up. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it is just because they are A, very old, and B, very hard to get your hands on. These are some expensive minifigs, just because they weren't they were in more expensive sets. But again, love that reflective printing. That looks so, so good. Now, Nia only got one minifig in the pilot's wave. This was long before she became a ninja. This is a trend that Lego just brought back recently, which is printing the mask on the face. They just did that for the 2025 Pixel in the Stormsuit waves, and that is the first time we have seen it in 14 years since 2011. So cool that Lego brought that back. Really nice homage to this OG Nia. I love the idea of a mask, like the half mask here, printed onto the face. Glad they brought it back. She's got her Samurai X symbol in pearl gold, and that does reflect under the light. Looks very nice. It is that swan symbol that we continue to see pop up throughout the show. She's got the same color red as Kai, so they really do look like siblings, and it's kind of hard to differentiate them in these earlier seasons and earlier suits, but that was the idea, so I get it. This classic Nia face never fails. Really like the red eyeshadow on there, and then she did not get a back print as well. Moving on, we've got Master Wu and Garmadon, the two brothers and sons of the first Spinjitzu master. Master Wu had this brand new beard piece introduced back in 2011, and it is still used to this day, so very cool there. This bamboo hat was also new at the time, and he used the same Sensei Wu face print here all the way until 2017 when it was changed for the movie. So very interesting little tidbit that he kept the same face print for so long. On the back, he did have this symbol too, which looks very, very nice. That splash of red is a welcome change amongst just kind of the generic white and gray colors of the character. Lord Garmadon was the first big bad of the show, I guess, aside from Samakai over here. He reused this classic samurai helmet, again, from the 1999 Ninja theme. Very cool. Love that LEGO did that. This is a pretty creepy looking minifigure, and again, something we had never really seen anything like at the time. I love the red eyes, the teeth, and he would of course come back in season 2. No leg print is a little bit lame, but it's 2011. I can't get that upset about it. Now, interestingly enough, with all of the simplicity of the 2011 minifigures, you know, no back printing, no leg printing for some of them, we got what is still to this day one of the best Ninjago minifigures ever. It's insane to me that LEGO was able to make a figure this good all that time ago. But this is Samakai here, General of the Skullkin, basically the General Grievous. Look at that spine mold on the back. That is insane. And this is one big piece here. So it's the normal Skullkin body underneath, just like that, and then you lift off this giant piece, attach the arms, and the head does attach as well. This has dual molding, printing, painting. I mean, this thing just has it all, and then you can actually open his mouth too to have him like screaming or yelling, charging into battle, whatever you want. And then the forearms feature is very, very cool, and something we'd continue to see a lot of from Ninjago in the future. It looks like I put the piece on the wrong way. Let's swap that back around. There we go. Much better. But yeah, Samakai is a top 10 Ninjago minifigure, and I don't think that will ever change. Moving on, we've got two of the comedic reliefs themselves. We're going to move this guy off to the side, but we have got Cruncha and Knuckle here. If you watched Ninjago as a kid in 2011, I'm sure you remember these guys always goofing around on screen. They each had unique and exclusive head molds. I don't remember Cruncha having a monocle like this, but maybe I'm just tripping, but I don't think that was in the show. Anyways, he's supposed to have this helmet on around the back in light gray, which is cool. And then this armor piece was brand new for the Skullkin as well. The Skullkin introduced a lot of new pieces at the time. The torso was new. The legs were new because they had these boot pieces molded onto the skeleton legs. They really went all out with these early Skullkin minifigures. Knuckle looks really, really nice. I love the blue. And again, a brand new armor piece for him as well. This is Whiplash over here. I got him in a spinner, but I do think he came in a couple of sets as well. Same armor piece as Cruncha. He's got the same hat piece as Master Wu. And a really cool detail is he has this little worm on the side of his head. And if you really zoom in on that, the worm itself has its own little face. It has a little smile. So really insane small detailing there that didn't really have anything to do with the show, but just a LEGO designer clearly having fun with their job. There, moving on, we've got some more generic skeletons over here. I believe this is Boneseye. We got Crazy. I don't know this guy's name. But yeah, really cool generic warriors here. They all differentiate themselves with their different face print and colors. I've got two Boneseyes, which is nice. And then we've got two more generic Skullkin warriors over here. These ones just without armor. Again, I love this army, all the different colors, face prints, new pieces. The Skullkin are just iconic in Ninjago's history. And then the final pilot minifigure we have here is this training dummy. This came in a set with Jay. I think it was called Skeleton Bowling. But again, this was just, I believe, an exclusive color for the older skeleton torso. And then you just have this little cone piece on his head. But yeah, the old skeletons could have their arms move around every which way. Very un-minifigure-like, but still very, very cool to see. Now, moving on to 2012, we have Rise of the Snakes. I've got two of the Kai minifigures here. This is Kai ZX, one of them with shoulder pads, one without. One came in a spinner, and I believe the other one came in the Rattlecopter, which I don't own. I bought both of these minifigures on their own. because I didn't really want to buy the Rattlecopter. It's expensive. Anyways, this was a brand new mask piece at the time. Kai was a very common minifigure to get in this wave. He was one of the few ninja that you could get a lot of if you bought the whole set wave. But of course, none of us had that kind of money back then, so I only got the two Kais here. But if you had the whole set wave, you could certainly have a lot more. This wave also introduced the NRG Ninja, which are still beloved to this day and are still very, very expensive on the aftermarket. So if you own any of the NRG Ninja, consider yourself very lucky. This is Kai here, and this was meant to show when he was achieving his true potential. The mask piece is the exact same as the brand new one introduced for the ZX suits. It's just no printed onto the symbol up here. It's just a symbol instead of the colored painted on, if that makes any sense. I'm trying to explain myself the best I can. Love, again, the reflective printing on these earlier minifigs was absolutely beautiful. Really cool face print underneath. I love the glowing orange eyes. And again, that scar, which, funny enough, is not accurate to the show. Kai has always had a scar print on his minifigure, but it did not become canon to the show until Season 8, Sons of Garmadon. It took 8 seasons. Not very long. The new Cole suit's really cool. I like the armor. It almost looks like a vest strapped onto him. Gonna be keeping that same Cole face. And I didn't mention it earlier, but the shoulder pad piece was brand new at the time as well. My NRG Cole is my most beat up out of all my NRG figures. Sadly enough, the face print underneath has been rubbed off, at least the mouth, and a lot of it. I got a little bit of a refund on the minifigure because I was supposed to be buying him in good use condition. But anyways, I would like to own a complete NRG Cole with all of the printing at some point. I just would really prefer to not spend that kind of money at the moment. Yeah, this one isn't in the best condition, but it is what I have. And it does give you a very accurate representation of what the figure looked like. This is the only time we ever saw pink for Cole. I wish it came back because, man, it looks cool, especially with that reflective lighting. Really great minifigure. Jay here, another very iconic 2012 suit. The only problem is he had a silver arm in the show that was meant to fend off the bite of the Fangpire, who are ironically standing right behind him. It's just light gray in the sets here. Lego did away with chrome silver on minifigures because it would just rub off over time and look terrible. I get that. I just wish they had been able to find a way to make it work because it doesn't match the show, unfortunately. NRGJ is one of the most expensive Ninjago minifigures of all time, a legendary figure to be sure. This one's worth about $150 new and about $100 used, which is just insane to think about. Maybe he should go in like a bank vault glass case. I need to buy some kind of safe for him. I don't know. Expensive minifigure, but a phenomenal one nonetheless. I'm going to set him very carefully off to the side. Do not want anything happening to that. And the final of the main 4 ninja for this wave was Zane here. Zane's suit is probably my least favorite of the ZX. I don't love how much brown and tan is in it. I just don't think it matches Zane's character very well. Of course, the same face print. Love the gold accents, though. I think that worked really, really well for his character. And then NRG Zane is my favorite NRG minifigure. This is the only time Zane has used baby blue. So much like Cole, 2 very different and unique colors for these minifigures here, and something we would never see again, unfortunately. The face is really cool. I love the ice shard just coming down on one half of his face, kind of jutting out on the other side. Just a beautiful, beautiful minifigure. Now, moving on, we've got Samurai X here. This was the only Nia suit we got in this wave. Unfortunately, the sets ruined the reveal. We were supposed to not know who Samurai X was. It was built up as this huge mystery in the show, and then they just completely spoil it, like with the minifigure. So that was kind of lame. Same kendo armor piece, and then she has her growling anger face on the other side, so different from her pilot's counterpart, which had the bandana, or not the bandana, the half mask over her face. Now, before we get to this one, I'm supposed to have a young Lloyd Garmadon minifigure. He was one of the most important parts of Rise of the Snakes, but that is the one Ninjago minifigure I could not find. Out of the 1,100 minifigs I lined up, Child Lloyd was nowhere to be found, so I'm probably going to have to buy another one at some point before I do my next complete Ninjago minifigure. Every minifigure ever, whatever I title it. Anyways, this is Lloyd ZX. This is another very rare and desirable minifigure. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but the way they printed the mask up top, the silver, has like grits in it, little holes. I don't really know how to describe that. It almost looks textured, even though it's not. But yeah, a very iconic minifigure, and if you are a Ninjago fan, you gotta make sure you have this one in the collection. Master Wu got a brand new suit in the flagship set of the wave. The Ultra Dragon Battle, or was it Epic Dragon Battle? I think it was. But anyways, this suit just has dragons on it. I mean, that's really cool. I don't think any complaint is justified here. This is a really great minifig, dragon printed on the back. And then Lord Garmadon, of course, with all 4 of his arms. This was such a cool minifigure. The top piece was entirely new. That could just be attached onto the torso. Here, really interesting leg print with sash. One longer one on the right, shorter one on the left. And then he had a very mildly updated face print there. And then this was a brand new helmet. He did not reuse the same helmet from the last wave, which was the OG Samurai helmet. They gave him an entirely new one. To be honest, I still kind of prefer this OG Samurai helmet. It looks more intimidating, but overall, still a really cool addition of this new helmet piece here. And then I guess the main villains were the Serpentine, even though Garmadon was a piece in the season. Pythor is probably the coolest looking one. This giant snake head mold is crazy, the way it loops back and up around and has a ton of printing on the top. Painted teeth, painted eyes. I mean, they really put a lot of effort into this minifigure, and a brand new snake tail piece for all of the generals here. The most valuable one, I believe, is Acidicus here. This is Scales, Scalador, and then I believe this is Fangtum. But yeah, the 5 Serpentine generals of the 5 tribes, only one of each was included if you bought the whole set wave, so not really an easy way to get duplicates of these, especially because they're so expensive on the aftermarket. Moving on to the Serpentine armies, this one here is the Hypnobrai. We'll start with them just because they caught my eye first. Mesmo here is worth like $30 or $40 for some reason. I don't know why. I think he only came in a spinner, but spinners were 10 bucks. I guess the Energy J spinner was 10 bucks too, but probably a production issue there. This is, I believe, Scales before he becomes leader of the tribe. I love the yellow printed onto the head. The yellow just looks really good with the Hypnobrai in general, and then Ratla over here has just a little bit of yellow. Really love this new snake headdress mold that they introduced as well. Looks very, very sinister. Now, moving on, we've got these guys over here. I can't believe I'm blanking on their names. They're not the Anacondrae. They're the Venomari. There we go. Took me a second. I've got 2 Lasha minifigs. This was a very common minifig to get. Still very easy to get. The Vials of Poison are really cool. I like that he's missing an eye as well. Very, very creepy. We've got Lizaru here, who had a brand new head mold. Spitta, who also had a brand new head mold, but it's the same one as Mesmo. And then a junior set gave us 2 more snake minifigs. I don't remember when the junior set came out, so I just included them with all the OG Serpentine here because they fit in quite well. I think it was around the Day of the Departed time, though, because this head mold is the exact same one that comes in the Ultra Stealth Raider. These guys here were the Fangpires. They could bite you and turn you into a snake, or they could bite quite literally anything and turn it into a snake. I love the double head mold here, the dual snake heads, which we saw on Fangtum. Brand new snake headdress piece in the back, and then this new head piece for Chop Suey. Yes, this snake's name is Chop Suey, and yes, I have 2 of them. Snike here in the back is one of the Constricti, using the same headpiece as the Fangpire. Very, very cool. I love the orange and black design of the Constricti. I've got 3 Bitars for some reason. Don't really know why, but I do know why I have 4 Chokins, and that's because Chokin is God. Chokin is almighty. Chokin is life. Anyways, this Chokin here is really weird. Look how different his head is compared to these. I don't know if the printing got rubbed off, or if this head is fake. I don't really know. But the torso and legs are real, so yeah, it's just always existed like that. He's just a little bit special. All right, moving on to 2013. This was supposedly the farewell Ninjago wave. Obviously, knowing what we do now, that is not true. Ninjago has still existed and will still exist for a long time, but the final battle suits, these are the kimono suits, were absolutely beautiful. And I'm going to try and adjust my camera back here without knocking everything over to give you a little bit better look at these. Okay, there we go. We got Lloyd in his kimono suit here. I love that all of these were the first to introduce like darker color schemes for the ninja. The black really makes the other colors stand out. This Lloyd face is still great, very useful, much better than the one we would get later on, in my opinion. And he also had a scared face on the back. Very, very cool. Of course, Lloyd did also get the Golden Ninja minifigure. And if you didn't know, yes, there were two separate Golden Ninjas. What's the difference, you're asking? Well, quite obviously, it is the color. This one on the left here is pearl gold, and this was more of a chrome gold. Not completely chrome, but very close to it. This one here was known for snapping. The pieces were not very strong, not very durable, so they changed it to this pearl gold in a later production line of the sets. The four main ninja, love these robes here. They look beautiful. The kimono suits are still one of my favorites to this day. I always love when they include gray for Cole here. I don't know, I think it just works really well with his design. Kimono suits, iconic. Too bad we did not get a Nia in this wave though. General Kozu here, very underrated Ninjago villain, at least in terms of his design. I think this was a very cool design. This was a brand new piece up here for the upper arms, different from Garmadon's because this one is all armored up. I love the bright red aesthetic of the Stone Warriors, and he had a very creepy face underneath. I remember as a kid pretending and playing with this figure where his mask would get ripped off and you just see this horrifying face underneath. The rest of the Stone Warriors, you got the Stone Warrior Samurai here with the samurai helmet, and then this new piece on the bottom with like teeth almost. I don't really know what that's supposed to look like. You got the Stone Warrior Scouts here. I only have two of these guys. One is missing his hat. I don't really know why. And then, of course, the Stone Warrior Archers, which is this last figure here who had the yellow on his face. I only got one of those guys. Moving on to Rebooted, I have barely any Rebooted duplicates. And again, it's just because I was a kid and also because there were not a lot of duplicate figures in this wave of sets. The Rebooted ninja suits are ones I still have issues with to this day. The fact that they didn't include leg printing, but the Pilot 2011 suits did, is really shocking to me. This was the first time we got our hair pieces for the ninja. That was the most exciting part of these. Maybe that's where the budget went into making this new Kai hair piece, providing the Lloyd hair piece. I don't really know. Whatever it is, I'm just happy we got the hair pieces, even if the suits suffered as a result. This is clearly meant to be just covering up his golden suit. You can see it shining underneath as he hides from the Overlord's scanners. This is the stone armor version of Lloyd here. Again, no leg printing, but some of the later stone armor minifigures, as they tried to complete the collection and eventually did have leg printing. So it's a little bit weird seeing some with and without, but it's whatever. I'm glad they completed the collection. I love the silver for Lloyd. We don't see that very often. Usually it's gold as an accent color instead of silver. So unique minifigure just for that aspect. I've got two Rebooted Kais, probably the best Rebooted suit in my opinion. I love the actual just flame prints on the suit. You don't really see that much. Very, very cool. Moving on. This Kai minifigure came later on down the line. I believe it was 2016. He came in a book, if I'm not mistaken, but he did have this brand new face print underneath that looks way more like Kai than any of the ones we had gotten before. I don't know why it took them this long and then why they never did anything with it after, but I'm just glad that it exists. And he also had like a pearl gray armor here instead of the silver we saw in the other ninja. So very interesting. Another Kai minifig that came out with the hands of Time Wave was this golden Digi-Kai from the show. He also had a new face print. Mine is a little bit wonky, printed a little bit lower than it should be, but this is a phenomenal minifigure. Very sad that we never got to see this collection completed, especially because they came back in Legacy and made this here, Golden Digi-Zane. Yeah, he looks a little off. The hood piece is wrong. He needs his hair. He doesn't have his OG design, and he's missing leg printing. But that is aside from the point. It was cool that they went back and tried to complete the collection. It's just very sad that it never actually happened. Rebooted Zane, pretty solid suit. I love the little blue accent there. No leg printing does suck. Zane was the only ninja to get 3 suits in this wave, as I struggled to pick him up. This was battle damaged Zane. This was something we had seen in season 1, Rise of the Snakes, at least with the head. We hadn't seen it with the torso, but we got to see his whole torso come apart, and look at that. That is a beautiful face. I wish it wrapped around the side, but they would come back and correct that with a new Zane minifigure later on down the line. We'll be seeing him very soon. Really solid minifig, and we did get something similar to this in the 2025 wave with the shirtless Zane, now that he's the Titanium Ninja. So things look a little bit different. But yeah, cool to see this revisited. Moving on to Jay. His rebooted suit's okay. That's really all I have to say. The Stone Armor Jay came out in a book. He had a brand new face print at the time for Skybound. And then, yeah, this was the last ninja we needed, I believe, to complete the Stone Armor collection at the time. Moving on to Cole. Really interesting how he used, this looks like a light orange, almost a fluorescent orange. We never saw that color again for Cole. And then this one here came in a little promo box at Toys R Us to complete the Stone Armor collection as well. And he had a brand new face print that, again, was exclusive to the figure. So love seeing that LEGO went out of their way to give these new face prints, because getting alternate expressions for the ninja back in the early days of the theme was a very, very rare thing. The final Stone Armor Ninja is Nia here, and she surprisingly had leg printing, even though she came out in 2014 with the rest of the other ninja who did not get that. So just interesting. Sensei Garmadon was a very anticipated figure. I remember being so excited to get this as a kid. Garmadon had finally turned over to the good side. I like the incorporation of green and the black, and the gold really gives him some ties to Lloyd. This wave also gifted us with a Dareth minifigure. Thank God we didn't have to wait very long for that. Leg printing is much appreciated. I love the bulging belly, the chest hair up top, and the gold star on the back. What a perfect minifig. Pixel was a brand new character, and one that would eventually stick around for quite a while in the show. As far as I know, this hairpiece was not new, because I remember seeing it in Monster Fighters as well, which came out around the same time. Pixel, really cool. I love that she had an alternate face as well, where she turns evil in the show, if you do remember that. Speaking of turning evil, we've got Evil Master Wu here, or Tech Wu as he's referred to in the set description. Really cool to get this beard piece in a darker color. Wu is looking very creepy with the tech covering his face there. And then we got the Overborg. This was our only Cyrus Borg minifig for almost the good part of a decade, until we got one 2 years ago. My face print on mine was a little bit smudged, so I just had to get over that. But cool that he had an alternate face print, so you could recreate Borg and then the evil face print on one side. This was an entirely new hairpiece as well, to kind of give him that evil, corrupted by technology look. Here is the Overlord. This was the first time getting an Overlord minifigure. I do not count the one from the Temple of Light. That is just a Garmadon minifigure. The helmet here looks really good. The armor piece is brand new to suit the Golden Master. That is a creepy smile, creepy eyes, just a really creepy minifigure. He is using that older dress piece, which is just a slope, so he can pop off pretty easily, but it is what it is. This is another very expensive and very iconic Ninjago minifigure. This is the OG General Cryptor and his Nintroid friends here. I love this new armor piece. I say I love about everything. I have a lot of love for Ninjago. This theme has created so many new pieces, prints, figures. It's done a lot for the theme of LEGO as a whole. Really cool new mask piece with that on the side. It's basically just the ZX suits, it's basically just the ZX mask piece with a robotic overlay over it. I got 2 Cryptors. I got a singular, I lied. I got 2 Mindroids, and then the rest of my Nindroid collection is over here. Move all those guys off to the side. Moving into 2015, we got Tournament of Elements. I much prefer the Zukin suits over here to the original tournament suits, but again, cool to see the half mask and hairpiece theme continued on. The Zukin suits have the ninjas' first letter of their name printed on in Ninjargon, so that's cool. This was also, if you did not see it in the last wave, Lloyd has a new face print now instead of the other one. For some reason, they changed it, even though this is much less accurate to the show. So very strange. there. I love, the biggest thing that I love about the Zukin suits is the brown. This is like a light brown. We never saw this color again. Their elemental symbols up on the corner of their chest as well, and then some weapons just displayed right in front. That's a really cool idea. The final J minifig is this custom one. I decided to include it because why not? This was him in the show when he was running the game show. This hairpiece, I've had a lot of people ask me where I got it. I got it from Lego's Pick-a-Brick website. So you're going to have to do a little bit of digging, but you can find it on there. And then this is just the Skybound head and hair. And then the torso here is from the Jazz Club modular. But you can also get that on Lego's Pick-a-Brick website. Cole, again, he probably suits this light brown color the best out of all of them. And then I did talk about Zane getting that head printed all the way around. Look at that. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. I don't know how they did that. Never really see much stuff like that. I mean, even with Ronin later on down the line, they couldn't print his eye patch all the way across his face. So interesting there. This figure, beautiful. And then we got the Titanium Ninja. This is Zane reborn as a new person. This is really cool. The tech face, kind of like Iron Man. And he has the little thing over his eye. I wish that thing over his eye stayed when his mask was on for longer in the show because it was a really cool concept. And then just a happy, smiling Zane face on the other side. To be quite frank with you, I have no clue how I came to be in possession of 2 of these minifigures, though. I thought I only had 1. This is the updated Sensei Garmadon. The biggest change you'll notice is his Anacondrae tattoo on the back because that was given to him by Master Chen as more of his backstory was revealed before he inevitably died. Master Wu here did get a minifigure that came out around the same time as all of these sets, so I just included him here. This is a non-canon suit, but I love how much gold is in it. This just looks like a very elegant and royal robe. Maybe if Master Wu were some kind of royalty or king or something, that's what he would wear. Nia got a couple of minifigures to represent her role in the show. This one here is non-canon, but it does have one of the coolest Samurai X faces underneath. Look at that. And then this alternate face of Nia with a really confident smirk. Exclusive face print. This is the outfit she wore in Season 4 as well as Season 5. Forgive me, my voice is starting to go. It's been 35 minutes straight of talking, and I got a ways to go. Anyways, this was the only time we saw like this dark forest green for Nia. It fits the concept of a samurai, but I just don't really know if it fit the concept of a water ninja, which would come later on. But at the time, yeah, it was enough to differentiate her from Kai, which I appreciated. This one here is her kabuki outfit from the show. Love seeing the arm print there. That is really, really nice. This is a beautiful minifig with 2 faces as well. Skylar came into play here. The suit on the left, I don't think is canon. It was introduced with the Hands of Time Wave, but since we didn't see Skylar after Tournament of Elements until Hunted, I guess we did see her in Skybound briefly. I think she was using this suit. I don't know. I may be tripping, guys. But 2 Skylars. The OG Skylar is probably always going to be the best. Look at that face print. That is so cool. I don't know why that wasn't in the show. It gives me the vibe of when Zane pulls his mask over, he has those tech eyes pop up. Now, moving on, we've got all of the Elemental Masters from Season 4 here. These all released in different set waves, but I included them all here because I mentioned earlier, this is in timeline order, not in release order. Shade, Ash, Balobo, Jacob, Gravis, Tox, Mr. Pale, Griffin Turner, Karloff, Camille, and Neuro. Beautiful. We love the Elemental Masters. These 2 here only came out in the Ultra Agents theme, but I asked all of you all over on Instagram, and you all said that they count as Ninjago minifigures because they did appear in the show. And to that, I say fair enough. Master Chen was the main villain of Season 4. It was cool to see this Star Wars cape piece for him used. We don't really see this kind of cape piece in Ninjago. We don't see capes much in general in Ninjago. He had this brand new serpent skull anacondrae thing head mold, and then the purple integrated into his torso to kind of match the whole anacondrae vibe. I have 2 of the Klaus minifigure here, one with a hood, one without, and then on the alternate side of his face, he had one where he's just powered up, angry, whatever you want to call that. Lots of Anacondrae cultists here, but maybe not nearly enough if you're trying to build a huge army. Again, I didn't buy all the sets, but I did buy most of them. This is Zugu, this is Kapow over here, and I could not tell you the names of the rest, except for this guy. I lied. This is Izor. And then we got Pythor coming back. Pythor was still alive as revealed in Season 3, even though he was eaten by the Devourer. The whole white concept I like quite a bit, to be honest. White, it basically just inverted his colors, which I thought was really cool. And then we got 3 of the Anachondri warriors here. These are the cultists all suited up in their new snake designs because the transformation ritual worked. I wish we had gotten more of them. Like, it's really cool that they personalized them. Like, this is clearly Zuko, and this is probably Kapow over here. But to not get versions of all the other members is a little bit lame. And the fact that you only have 3 for the army, again, a little bit disappointing. But I'm glad we at least got a few instead of not getting any. Now, we're going to start with Possession, and we're going to finish with Possession on the next faceplate. I could not fit all of them here, had to move on. But I have 2 of the Possession Lloyds, and I actually forgot to cover this guy. This guy came in the Ninja DBX. This is a robot from Tournament of Elements. But anyways, back to Possession. I've got 2 of the Lloyds here. One came in the Bounty, one came in the Temple of Airjitzu. The Possession suits are some of my all-time favorites. Again, they really hammered home the idea of the darkness in the suit, and then this brand new dual molded mask piece with 2 colors. So cool. And then we also got the Airjitzu minifigures. This was a new powered up version. The first time we'd seen powered up ninja since the energy ones. These, of course, didn't live up to them. No suit ever could, but they did a very good job for what they were. They stuck to the idea of this darker color scheme. You can see with Jay here, Kai, and then Zane is my favorite of all of them. This face print, a lot of people used for custom Zanes, so I really like that idea. And having their elemental symbol in the middle was a nice touch there. Nia got one as well with her water phoenix on there instead of her swan, so very interesting. And then Cole, of course, got one as well. I've got 3 of the Possession Kais, 3 Possession Coles, one of them with a Zane face print for some reason. I only have 1 Possession Zane. This was the hardest minifigure to get in the Possession wave. Wish I had more. 2 Possession Jays, 2 Possession Nias. This Samurai X minifigure came again, 2nd set wave in a row after Tournament of Elements, because she did use this suit in Possession for a hot minute there. I've got 3 of Master Wu's Possession suits. These are like his combat gear, so he's got gloves, dragon heads, you know, robes flowing, shurikens in the back. He's ready for battle. This over here is Airjitzu Wu. He came in the Temple of Airjitzu. Love the idea of tan here. Tan is something we don't see a ton of for Master Wu, at least in terms of the amount that you see here. This is a lot of tan. Great minifig. This was also the first time we ever saw Misako, so that was very much welcome for fans of the show. Sand green legs are great to get. And then she has this alternate face that looks really overjoyed, and in this first face, she just looks really content. We also got an updated Dareth minifigure. A lot of people did not like the face print. It looks not like Dareth. It looks too over the top. Like, Dareth is over the top, don't get me wrong. This is too over the top. The smile's too big. The eyebrows feel a little bit off. But nonetheless, it was great to get another Dareth minifigure. And then this was the introduction of the anti-hero Ronin. Ronin is one of my favorite Ninjago characters. I wish they could have printed the eye patch around the side. I don't know why they went to the bother of printing it on the back, but not on the side. But yeah, Ronin, beautiful, beautiful minifig. I love all the different colors, and yet somehow they just don't clash. But yeah, let's move on to the next base plate and take a look at some more Possession minifigs. Continuing on with Possession here, we had another fan favorite character finally appear in minifigure form, and that is the Postman right here. He came in the Temple of Airjitzu, and obviously I only have 1 Temple of Airjitzu, so only 1 Postman. He did not come with an alternate face, sadly. I kind of wish we had gotten one with him like screaming or something as he's running away from all of the crazy threats that happen in Ninjago, but oh well, it is what it is. I wish he had come back in some of the more recent seasons. It'd be great to see his face again in Dragon's Rising at some point, because we haven't seen this guy in a while. Anyways, these 2 here are non-canon characters that came in the Temple of Airjitzu. We got Jesper and Claire. Claire reused a bunch of city pieces, but Jesper, interestingly enough, had a brand new torso and leg print. I really like the little smiley face pin on there, and then getting this hat right here, this fedora piece, is always much appreciated. Honestly, I don't really mind either of these characters. I think even though they're non-canon, they were still a very solid inclusion in the Temple of Airjitzu. Moving on, I've got 2 Moro minifigs. Honestly, I wish I had more because he is my favorite villain in all of Ninjago. Such a well-written character and a very intimidating threat because he literally possessed the green ninja over here. But yeah, one with the cape, one without. Love the translucent pieces here. It looks really, really good. I understand why they didn't do it for the torso, but just the complementing head and legs mixed with like the sand green, forest green, all that kind of stuff looks really, really solid to me personally. Of course, this is Possessed Lloyd. It's a mix of Lloyd and Moro. It had this brand new headpiece as well as this brand new armor piece. If you bought every possession set, you would have 2 of these guys, but unfortunately, I did not have the money to do that back in the day, and to go ahead and pick up the sets that I missed out on would cost me a fortune, so it's going to be one Possessed Lloyd for probably the rest of my life as I own my Ninjago collection, because this is a very rare minifig, hard to get your hands on. I think he's worth around $60 or $70 right now. Anyways, moving on, I've got 2 of the Soul Archer here, one with minifig legs, one with this brand new Wraith tail that was introduced as a new piece for Possession. The Ghost Army is probably my favorite army in all of Ninjago. Possession just has a lot of my favorite things. Favorite villain, favorite army, favorite intro. I mean, there's so much good stuff here. And then this brand new head wrap piece as well. Really interesting face underneath with like a mustache and a goatee. Not what I would have expected the Soul Archer to look like underneath, but we never really see his face in the show, just these eyes peeking out. And for what that is, that looks really good. We've got a singular Bansha minifig here. I actually did used to have 2 of her, but when I was making my custom Zora minifig for Ninjago Genesis, the crimson red arms here completely snapped and broke inside of the torso, so the whole figure was ruined. And just so you know, Lego's older crimson red like this used to snap and break very easily. So if you have a Bansha minifig yourself, do not take the red arms off of her. Just a little word of warning there. Really great face print underneath. I can't look at this minifig without seeing Zora now, just because that was such a big part of Genesis. I have 3 Gultars here. Really solid minifig as well. He loves puffy pot stickers, as I'm sure many of you know. He was like the most common Ghost General to get in all the possession sets, so I have 3 of him, and I'm not complaining. I really like this character. You can swap him around with some of the other Ghost parts to build more of a unique army instead of having 3 Gultars, because just from a logic standpoint, that doesn't really make sense in your army. Moving on, I have a lot of ghosts, as you can see here. I really like these guys. I forget what they're called, but what you can do is I'll take this Wraith minifig here. Love the black arms, and then the face underneath is awesome. It's so creepy with all the wrapping around his face like that. But you could put these on top of the minifig heads, and it's like the little ghost has possessed them. To get a minifig just chilling, this comes in, attaches on, and then picks them up and flies away. I have 2 of the open-mouthed ones, and then one with just a little angry smile right there. So those were really cool inclusions. We've never really seen little mini villains like this since Possession, and that's just another reason Possession is so great. These 2 here were both exclusive ghosts to a minifigure pack. This one is Woo, W-O-O-O. Very interesting name. I don't know where his head wrap went, to be honest. That kind of sucks, but things get lost when you have a larger collection. That's just the way it is. But yeah, these both had exclusive torso prints, and then Wu had an exclusive face print. So very interesting there. I've got 4 of these Spider minifigs here, S-P-Y-D-E-R. Very interesting spelling. One of them is missing his hands because that's just how it goes, man. He lost his hands. He's a ghost. It's just how it goes. Really love the head wrap piece, and then this face with like vampire fangs underneath. Really good stuff there. And then the final 2 ghosts in my collection are these 2 over here. This guy's another variation. He has the spider face, but a different torso print. And then this one has a completely unique face print. It's like this black, so it's very different from all the other ghosts. Reminds me of more like a skeleton or something. But again, the variation in the Ghost Army is just unmatched. Such a great line of figures and such a great Ninjago season. Moving on to Skybound, I've got 2 of the Lloyd suits and 2 of the Kai suits. Very happy about that. This one came in the Misfortune's Keep, and he didn't have a hood piece. Instead, he opted for this very strange armor piece with his hair there. These reused the Possession hoods as well as the Possession legs, something we had never seen, repeating a leg print, but I think it works very well with these Skybound suits. Kai looks really solid, still that same face we've come to expect since 2011. Jay here actually got two new face prints in this wave. I have two of the eye patch ones, and if you swap that around, he's got a really nice face on the back there. Love that. Fits perfectly for Jay. And then the main wave, Jay had this very smiley face as well. This one looks a little more goofy. This one looks a little more confident. And then he had a scared face that fit him so perfectly. Looks really great with the hood on. Jay got a lot of love in this wave because it was a Jay season. I have two of these Skybound Coals. One of them came in the NRG Dragon with this hairpiece, and then this one came in Tire Widow Island with the hood piece. So again, nice to see some variation across the Skybound wave. Cole here, this was the first time getting his ghost face, and it would be the only wave we got it because Day of the Departed, the next wave, he was no longer a ghost. So definitely got to appreciate this while it was around. That second face looks fantastic. I love the smile there. Skybound is really underrated in terms of what it did for some of the main Ninja's face prints. Cole and Jay being the standouts. I only have one Skybound Zane. I don't remember if he came in more than one set, but I think he only came in one. That being the little blimp. I forget what it's called, like Zeppelin Raid. I don't know, something like that. Continuing to use the same possession face print, and then this Zane over here was in the Cryptarium prison breakout when the ninja were in prison with this little heart showing right there. And then I have three Skybound Mias. Let's bring this back over here. Three of these minifigs, one with the hood and armor, one with hood, one with hair. So interesting how they divvied that up across the set wave. I believe this one was from the Ronin mech from that wave. This one was from the Lighthouse. And then this one, I don't remember what set she came in. But anyways, she was using this generic city face print still, which was really disappointing. And then she used Crimson Red. So her and Kai did kind of blend together, even though their reds are different. This was when they really went in on the red for Nia and didn't do as much blue. So we never really saw a Nia figure like this again. So I do appreciate it just for that. Master Wu here is the same as his battle suit from Possession. The only difference is that he has this new pilot helmet piece, which very cool, fits in well with the Sky Pirate theme. Echo Zane over here was a really great minifigure. Everyone was very excited to get that one, myself included. I love this color. I don't know what you would call it, like a mud brown almost. But this figure only came in one set, the Lighthouse Escape. Love the copper looking hairpiece there. I mean, there's just so much detail worked into this minifig. A really great one. One of my favorites from Ninjago. We got this little robot here in the Lighthouse that Dr. Julian had in there back in the day, and then he was there in Skybound when they went and visited as well. We also got a police officer in the Cryptarium prison breakout, as well as two villains. We got Captain Soto, and then General... I don't know, it's not General Kozu. It's supposed to represent the giant stone warrior, but they didn't make it a build. They just made it a minifig. So really interesting choice there. Cool to see this piece return right here, as they, of course, did use it for Nauticon as well. And then this was our first official Captain Soto, and we have not gotten a regular Captain Soto. The only version of him we have in minifigure form is in a prison outfit, so that kind of sucks. But if you have the Captain Brickbeard Lego minifigure, you can use that torso and legs to make your own Captain Soto. Moving on, we've got the Nauticon figure here. I modded the hairpiece on this one. I gave him a little stud so it stays on more, and then I lost the hairpiece for this one, so I just put one of the Lord of the Rings rings up there. I don't really know why, I just thought it looked better than having nothing. This is one of the best looking Ninjago villains. I will never say no to 4 arms. Really cool to see the Wraith Tail piece reused here in this red and orange mix. Just looks so good. Nauticon, an all-timer Ninjago villain. I got 2 flintlocks, one with the pilot helmet, one without. I love his mustache. Fun fact, this is, I believe, the only time we ever saw this mustache piece here in Ninjago, and I think flintlock is a really great choice. Also, an interesting detail is they each have different armor pieces here. This one looking a little more classic, this one a little more beefed up, ready to protect him, but this one over here is accurate to the show, while this one was not. Moving on, we've got Doubloon over here. Really interesting character because if you flip his face upside down, his expression completely changes, and that's why you turn it around and boom, there it is. And if you flip it upside down, you're gonna see he looks just like his face on the front. So really interesting detail, and he has the same treatment as Flintlock, where he has 2 different armor pieces divvied up among the sets. And so does Clancy over here. Great to see a Serpentine character come back with this brand new Serpentine head mold. Really good stuff. I love the peg leg and then the little bit of orange mixed in. I'm not sure which snake tribe he's supposed to belong to. I mean, it looks like Anaconda, but they don't really use that much lime green. So something we never really got an answer to in the show. But if you know which Serpentine tribe Clancy belongs to, let me know down in the comments. We got Dogshank right here. She was exclusive to Tiger Widow Island. Really wish Ninjago would do more big figs. We haven't gotten any since 2018, so 7 years now. But Dogshank is really solid. Only posability is in the arms and hands, but that's expected for Lego Big Figs. If you've ever seen one, that's really all they could do at the time. Really complex mold though up top here. Lots of really good paint application and printing. This is just a really high quality figure here. Siren over here, 2 variants of her. This one was exclusive to a polybag, and then this one over here came in a multitude of different sets in the wave. Cool to see a female pirate mixed in with all of the males. We got Squiffy and Bucko over here. I got 2 of each of them from the wave. They were very common pirates as well. Great army builders though that you could swap out with different heads in your collection. And then these guys came in a minifig pack. Love this exclusive printed pirate hat over here, and this was an exclusive color for the head wrap. New face prints, new torso prints, new leg print, and then this was the same as Clancy, I believe, with the peg leg. But they went all out with these minifigs in the minifig pack here. I really like that. Solid minifigs. And then the final Skybound figure we have is Monkey Wretch right here. Really cool to see the classic monkey piece. This was the last time I believe it was ever used in Lego before they swapped it out with the newer ones in City. But yeah, this is an iconic minifig here. I love the mix of the silver color with the orange and then the splash of brown on the hands. Let's move on to Day of the Departed. The ninja only got 1 suit, and I only have 1 of each ninja suit, except for Cole, which is technically a little bit different. But this wave had a lot of expensive sets, and you could only get all the ninja suits in the 2 biggest sets, and you did not get any duplicates, except for, I believe, Zane had a duplicate in the Ninja Tumbler set, and then Jay had a duplicate in the Samurai X Cave Chaos. But yeah, this is the full team lined up. New colors for the mask pieces, the dual molded mask pieces, excuse me, and then new color for the Skybound shoulder armor in brown and then in silver for Zane. And then, of course, same face for everyone except for Cole, who is no longer a ghost anymore. Really cool to see that transformation. This exclusive Cole minifig came in the Cole buggy. Love the alternate face with Cole smiling once again. And then he had the RX arms, which Cole still uses to this day. And yet Lego has not given us a brand new RX Cole. That honestly shocks me to this day because it's such a big part of his powers. And Lego just hasn't given us a figure with Cole RX arms ever since. Really strange detail. Got a couple more heroes in this wave of sets. We got Master Wu back here. I believe this was a new one because that flute printed onto the back. Solid, no leg print, which is a little disappointing, but he works just fine without it. Great to get another Ronin figure here. He is my favorite Ninjago side character. I'm always excited to see him. Just some slight differences on this one, but not too much of a change from Possession. This guy here should have been with the Skybound minifigs. I don't know why he's here with Day of the Departed, but this was one of the white Nindroids that guarded the Hiroshi's Labyrinth where the Realm Crystal was kept, and Nauticon just completely blew through a bunch of these guys and knocked them to bits. The final hero minifigure in this wave was Little Nelson here. Great to finally get him as well. Another delivery by Lego. I'm going to adjust the camera like I did a couple of minutes ago. But yeah, Little Nelson, solid figure using that old 1990s ninja mask piece. And in purple here, he is the purple ninja. And then his elemental symbol is a little squirrel drawing on the back. Really funny idea there. Sensei Yang was the main villain. Once again, using this Wraith tail piece, Lego really likes that piece. I get it. It's a really cool looking one, especially with the sand green here. I love this lantern idea for Sensei Yang. Just a solid Ninjago villain in terms of minifigure parts. Maybe not in terms of character growth in the show. But yeah, Sensei Yang will always be one of my favorite Ninjago minifigures. Moving on, we've got a brand new Pythor here for the first time since Season 4 here in Day of the Departed. This time he's wearing a really cool looking cloak. This one looks a lot more similar to what we saw in Rebooted, and then of course in the Day of the Departed TV special. Still love that he's rocking the white color scheme here. Master Chen came back, and from what I could tell, this is the exact same minifigure that came in Tournament of Elements, but not a big deal there. It's a really just a perfect minifig as is. He did not need any updates there. General Cryptor had some very minor changes, including removing his leg print for some reason. I don't really know why, and then his face is just mildly different. General Kozu has updated printing. Instead of being all red, he now has a black base color, which is cool to see a little bit of a change. However, the face print is exactly the same. This is a Anacondrae minifig that doesn't really make a ton of sense to have because the Anacondrae are extinct, but whatever, I'll take it. It's supposed to be Izor, as you can tell by the eye there. Love how the crimson red meshes well with the purple, and I don't know if you can hear it, but it is absolutely pouring outside, so if that's messing with the audio at all, I do apologize. Wrapping up the Day of the Departed figures, we got 2 more of the skeletons here. Great to see them bring back the boot piece, something they would not do for Legacy, and it looked really, really goofy. But yeah, we got Crazy, and then I don't remember this guy's name over here. Couple Stone Warriors. This was bringing back all the old villains here. Again, these are just updated versions of what we saw. All of them have the red face, so no face variation like we saw back with the final battle sets. And the final 2 minifigs we got are these 2 deceased stone students here. So they're basically like little stone statues that guard Yang's temple, but they come to life when he uses his ghost power. Really creepy looking face with that sand green and lime green in the eyes, and then the eyes peek out from the mask, and it looks much more alive there. Very solid minifigure. Let's move on to the best ninja suits of all time, and there is no debating that in the comments. These are the Hands of Time suits. Got 2 Lloyds, 3 Kais. Kai came in a $10 set in this wave with his hairpiece, so that's why I have 2 of them. It was just a very easy figure to get. However, this Kai here had an exclusive face print only in the Dragon's Forge set with a powered up version on the back. Love the way that looks with his eyes there. Really solid minifigure overall. Lloyd was great too. I love the mix of the copper and a little bit of gold into this figure as well. And this is the last time we'd be seeing all of these classic ninja designs here. I only have a singular J. He did come in the Desert Lightning set as well, but I did not get that one. And then Zane, interestingly enough, only came in 1 set, the Vermilion like catapult thing, and he had a brand new face print. Look at that little ding up in this corner of his face there. And then on the back, no alternate face print with the goggle over his eye. Instead, just this on the back here, which does fit the character. So really interesting here. And I love seeing all the titanium. This really reminds me a lot of the Season 4 Zane, but I think it looks even better. Singular Cole as well, and then 2 Nias in this wave. One of them had this terrible city face, but we got a brand new Nia face print in the Dragon's Forge. Similar to Kai's, she had a powered up face print on the back. Really solid stuff there. This is the same Wu from Day of the Departed, as you can see. The only difference is the hat is now in gold instead of tan. Now we get on to the expensive minifigures, if you want to go back and buy them right now, starting with Rei and Maya here, again, exclusive to Dragon's Forge. I really wish we gotten new updated versions of them with the Seabound wave, because Maya especially was such a big part of that season, and for fans who want to have a Maya minifigure, you're going to be paying way too much money on the aftermarket. So a little disappointing there. I hope one of these days, maybe in a future Ninjago City expansion set, we get updated versions of the figures that match their appearance in Skybound. You could also use this Maya face on the back for like a scared Nia. It works really well for that. Samurai X here, the new Samurai X, which we would eventually come to learn is Pixel, is a really great and also rare minifig. I love the dark blue and gold and black color scheme underneath a really interesting face. And then the one on the back has like these really creepy looking digital eyes. We never saw this character have a face like that in the show, at least not to my knowledge. But yeah, the OG Samurai X Pixel right here, exclusive to the Samurai VXL, which did not sell very well. Moving on, we've got the Time Twins here, 2 of the most expensive Ninjago minifigures in existence. If you own these, count yourself very, very lucky. We have got Crux and Acronix over here. They did come with hair pieces. I have those saved in a bag somewhere else, but really cool to see these capes here. We don't see capes in Ninjago very often. And then this younger Crux here. Came in a minifig pack, really cool face. I just wish the helmet was accurate, but I get that they can't make an entirely new helmet piece just for a little minifig pack. That would not make very much sense, so not a big deal overall. Wrapping up Hands of Time, we got all these Vermilion Warriors here. Again, the new helmet pieces are really, really cool, and I like that you can swap around the faces on the back just for more variation in the army. And then as you can tell, there are two different torsos we got in this wave, one with like a snake poking out, and then this one with the tails. And then both, of course, have the Hands of Time ticking in the middle. Great little detail. Really awesome armor pieces for them as well that mesh much better with this unique helmet as well. So really cool that LEGO went out of their way to make two different unique helmet molds, and then this brand new armor piece. And then, of course, we got Blunk and Ragamunk over here. I got two of him and only one of him. I believe this guy was Blunk, this guy was Ragamunk. And then we got General Machia, a pretty expensive Ninjago minifigure right now as well, because she too was exclusive to the poorly sold Samurai VXL. And that is going to do it for the first era of Ninjago minifigures. And as you can already see on screen, it is time to move on to the LEGO Ninjago Movie, a very controversial time in the Ninjago fandom. But if you bought a lot of the Ninjago Movie sets, you got a lot of Ninjago Movie minifigs. Look how many Lloyds I have from this wave. I have 3 casual Lloyds, casual Lloyd with a hood. This one here was exclusive to a polybag with his ninja suit kind of sticking through the jacket. Very interesting detail there. This one here is a training suit Lloyd. And then over here we have all of the regular suit Lloyds. Interestingly enough, this one here did not have an alternate face print. He only has the confused expression in front, but most of them have this angry Lloyd face in front. These guys introduced brand new mask molds. And then this over here is Kendo Lloyd, same face print as all of the others. He just had new Kendo armor with the helmet and breastplate there. Moving on, we also got a lot of Kais in this wave, as you're going to see very quickly. I have 2 Kendo Kais, 5 of the normal Kais, 3 of them with this very strange looking new hairpiece that I still do not like to this day. I still think it's a little too over exaggerated. Just looks a bit goofy to me personally. It kind of looks like a giant turd on his head, if I'm being honest. I didn't want to go there and be too harsh to my boy Kai, but I had to, just because I think that's how it looks. And then the bandage on the right side of his head, I'm not a fan of. Again, if you bought a lot of Ninjago Movie sets, you got a lot of Ninjago Movie minifigs, so that's why I have this many Kais. Don't have as many J's. As we move over here, I only have 3 of his regular suit and then 1 in his casual suit there from the CMF line. Jay was probably one of my least favorites from these new suits. Speaking of least favorite, that would be Zane over here. I have a lot of Zanes. As I move them all into position, everything's a little bit mixed up on the base plate just because of the way I order things. But here are all of my Zanes. I have 4 of the regular suit, 2 casual, and then 1 of Zane in his training suit. He has this face print here that kind of varies across. You can see this one is different from this one, which is different from this one. So very strange how that works there. Very slight details and then exclusive face print over here, but he does have an alternate face print with that really creepy smile, even though with the hairpiece here, it would show through, but that's why they had this one with the dots along the back. So yeah, my least favorite suit overall. I just think it looks too plain. Cole is possibly my favorite suit. He actually had arm printing, which was really cool to see. And then this brand new man bun hairpiece, as well as this brand new like side swept hairpiece. So good stuff there. I like his 2 casual designs that I own. And then this one came in the Ninjago City Docks. And then I have a black version of training suit Cole. Interestingly enough, Nia included a skirt piece, like a little fabric skirt piece over here. It was something that she would repeat in Sons of Garmadon and the next wave and then never use again. They really focused on the gunmetal gray color for her. She does have arm printing as well. Just a ton of detail went into these Ninjago Movie minifigs, except for Zane. Poor Zane. And then I got 3 more Nias over here. This one with an exclusive face print. And then this one introduced that brand new face print with Nia with the big happy smile. Nia with the angry look over here is a very hard face print to get. It only came in the Ninjago Movie wave, the Sons of Garmadon wave, and the Hunted wave. And then they did away with it for the happy one over there, which is a bit of a shame because she's a ninja who fights a lot. You think it would make sense for her to have an alternate angry expression. 3 Master Woos here. They all have different face prints. One's really old, one's very mad, one's very happy. So again, a lot of weird face print variation across the Ninjago movie set wave. Love seeing the skirt piece here for Master Wu as well. The little divvy right there, sorry, the little divide right there doesn't look that great, but I think it's worth it for how it looks overall. Coco, Lloyd's mother, got 2 minifigs in this wave. One of them came in the CMF line with the exclusive torso, leg, face, and new hairpiece over here. I don't think she has an alternate face from what I remember. Nope. No back torso print either. Very strange, but I love the sand green. And then this Coco that came in the Ninjago City set just used a generic city torso and legs, but I really like her alternate face where she's winking there. And then she did get this Lady Iron Dragon minifig that was absolutely torn to shreds by the community, and for good reason. Look how terrible that face print looks. No alternate on the back, but cool to see this more of this gunmetal gray. And then this was an exclusive armor piece that we never saw again. So yeah, very interesting minifig there. And then we got a lot of Garmadons in this set wave. I have 3 of the main torso versions over here. This one with the exclusive cape piece from the Green Dragon set. I don't have that set, I just bought this figure by itself. This one here with the bamboo hat. This one here with no headgear because probably lost it at some point. I don't know why. Garmadon with these volcano pajamas is hilarious. I love the arm printing. That is a really great detail to see. And then again, I believe this is a different face print compared to this one. Let's check. Yeah, slightly different. Again, Lego just going out of their way to make a ton of different face print variations for really no reason at all. But like, I'm not gonna complain. 2 of the jungle Garmadons with a really angry face and a cape piece. Love seeing cape pieces in Ninjago. Wish we saw more of them. And then the last Garmadon figure of this wave is Business Garmadon with these sunglasses. Love the hairpiece too. Who knew Garmadon had blonde hair underneath that creepy looking helmet? No alternate face print for this guy, but dual molded arms. And then this huge tie running down all the way his forearms there. We got 2 of the Garmatech GIT, Garmadon Institute of Technology, working in his lab. The big goggle glasses are hilarious. Face print underneath. Here's how that looks with the hairpiece there. One of his glasses is broken, probably from some kind of experiment. They both had dual molded legs. And the tie-dye shirt and then the Batman reference. Like, these 2 are top tier Ninjago movie minifigs that don't get enough credit. Moving on, we've got all of the Shark Army warriors and generals. This is the first one that gets shot out of a volcano in the movie, and then this is when he's all burned up from being shot out of the volcano. Awesome arm printing there, and then the lava burn printing all over the figure. Looks great. This is one of the Shark Army generals. She's seen sipping on a milkshake in the film. Look at that cape piece. I mean, a translucent cape piece. That looks like it was a lot of work to produce. And then all of the Shark Army warriors had these exclusive brand new mask pieces in a bunch of different colors. So 2 of the puffer fish, 2 of, what are these, piranhas perhaps, with the like hypnotic looking eyes there. Over here we had 2 of the octopus guys, 1 shark guy, although there were a lot more in the wave, I just didn't get the rest of them. 1 of the crab guys, a jellyfish guy, and then the rest of the Shark Army warriors just had little beanies on here in different colors and different torso variations for each of them. Then we move on to the Ninjago City Docks figures, at least 2 of them. We got Dareth and Nelson here. Nelson just repeating a bunch of parts, no new parts there, same with Dareth. But I really like, this was a brand new cast piece at the time, and it fits the Nelson character really well because he is always getting injured. And then this was our first time ever getting Ed and Edna in minifigure form. Of course, these were the Ninjago movie versions, but they looked very similar to the actual show. I remember the fan base being very excited about that at the time. This is the Count Dooku Clone Wars hairpiece, which is no longer in rotation in the Lego molds anymore. But both of them had very scared looking face prints at the back, which again, suited them perfectly. Let's continue with my collection of Lego Ninjago movie minifigures, these 2 here being some fan favorite characters that finally got their first minifigure iterations, this one here being Mother Doomsday, and then Mistake. Unfortunately, both of them are inaccurate. Mother Doomsday I'm much more okay with because it has this awesome Galador t-shirt that he would probably wear in the show, and he actually does at one point. It just fits the character and what he does. Mistaka unfortunately never wore glasses in the show, but this version has glasses. I'm guessing LEGO just didn't have the budget to make a new face print for her in the docks. It is what it is. This is Fred Finley, the news reporter from the Ninjago movie. No alternate face print, but his face looks a lot like Lou, Cole's father, so it is a way to get that. We got this rocker here with this awesome arm print. Love the dual molded legs as well. Just a very solid figure overall. This is a hot dog guy here. I don't remember his name. But very funny figure. These two, this braces piece was super interesting as well. Love the M-Tron reference there. Both of them came in the Garmadon set, so both of them are quite difficult to get. I think they're each worth around $30 right now. She has an alternate face print as well with just an even bigger smile. Who knew that was possible? Moving on, two different sushi chefs over here. This one from Ninjago City. This one from the Ninjago Movie CMF series. This is reusing the leg print from the Temple of Airjitzu. Jesper, very, very interesting to see that come back. I love the crab print all over this torso here. Only got one of each of these figures as well. These two came in the Kai mech. The scared expressions are hilarious. No dual molded legs for the female, which is interesting, but the printing is good enough that it just doesn't matter, which you can't say very often for LEGO, especially nowadays. The printing quality has gone downhill. Crazy that it was so good for the movie here. And then they each do have alternate faces. This one even more scared, if you didn't think it was possible. And then this one here looking just a little bit sheepish. Two very solid civilian minifigs here. This is the N-Pop girl. She just kind of looks like an anime girl. The hairpiece, it looks like cotton candy. All of the color just on this figure is fantastic. The Unikitty reference there is really solid. And then that skirt piece has a bunch of color on it as well. And the legs are dual molded. And there's printing around the back of the torso. Just a really top tier minifig. This is just a random police officer that came in Ninjago City. Let's keep things rolling. We got another civilian. This one exclusive to Ninjago City as well. The exclusive part was just that torso with the green ninja and what looks to be either his rebooted or Legacy of the Green Ninja / Final Battle robes. So solid torso print there. I don't know if this is worth much, but it did only come in the one set. Another police officer, this citizen here, a lot of the Ninjago movie citizens all have scared expressions because, of course, they were running from Garmadon. This one here came in the Ninjago City docks with a really confident smirk on the other side. This one here had a beautiful torso print and legs, little doves, all the little circles. I mean, just a very elaborate minifig exclusive to Ninjago City, of course. More scared civilians here. Look at all those different faces. These almost look like they could be the same person. Just one with his eyes closed. I guess the beard is a little bit different. But yeah, lots of scared civilians for the Ninjago movie. And then they all introduced this brand new bamboo hat. And we got it in a couple of different colors. Notably tan, dark tan / nougat. And then the black for Lord Garmadon. We got Colin here. Another Ninjago movie civilian. He does look exactly like my OC Colin from my Ninjago series. Ninjago City High torso. Two more scared civilians over here. Two more just pretty normal looking civilians. They fit into the Ninjago movie landscape quite well, if you ask me personally. And then over here we got the final four civilians. My favorite being the pink fish torso here with the Lego fish piece printed on there. And then great to see this generic just city sunglasses face print come back. That was huge back in like 2011, 2012 onwards. I remember having a lot of that face print as a kid. So cool to see it again here. And then I just lost the hairpiece for that figure. So that's how it goes. I have 4 Sons of Garmadon Lloyds for some reason, all with these two with different mask pieces, one of them being this older one, and then this one being the Legacy mask piece. They just came in different random sets, and then these two having the correct, show-accurate mask pieces. The Sons of Garmadon suits are fantastic, some of my favorite. It sucks that some of them are so hard to get, and I'll tell you which ones they are when we get to them. This was the Spinjitzu Master Lloyd, so it's like the powered-up version of him while he does Spinjitzu. Never really saw anything like this in the show. Cool to always get more exclusive Ninjago minifigs. I just wish the leg print and the face print matched the powered up thing going on a little bit better, so that sucks. But the whole green electricity, like, that's a cool idea. Kai here came in a $20 set, so he is one of the easier minifigs to get, but I only have one of him because there was only one in the wave. And then this right here is a Lego Minecraft minifigure, but it is a Lego Minecraft Sons of Garmadon Kai, so he is technically a Ninjago minifig. Kai here, looks like he has like a flaming phoenix head on his chest, almost. I don't know. Jay here was one of the harder SOG figures to get, worth a little bit more on the aftermarket. He only came in the kilo set, which is worth like $200 something right now, which is absolutely insane to think about. Jay got a Spinjitzu Master, as did all the other Ninja too. His is kind of meh, just electricity like what you'd expect. Zane here only came in a singular set as well. This looks way better than the movie version in my opinion. I like all of the little silver sparkles on his chest, and then the icy blue, like just a solid minifig overall. I do not like the Spinjitzu Master Zane. There's just like giant ice shards poking out of his chest. It just looks very strange. And by the way, SOG Zane did introduce this brand new titanium ninja face print, so much different than the movie face print we were used to seeing. Here's Zane's Spinjitzu Master, and then we also got Snake Jaguar, another variation of Zane, when he went undercover at the SOG. I wish we had gotten Rocky Danger buff for Cole, but unfortunately that was not the case. Speaking of Cole, he was the hardest minifig to get in this wave, at least in terms of the ninja. He only came in the Temple of Resurrection, which, again, crazy. I personally don't like it when LEGO makes certain suits exclusive to sets, especially more expensive ones. I like people to have different options of what suits they want to get. And then me personally, I always like having duplicates of suits, because if this one cracks or I lose it or something, like, I'm kind of screwed, man. So that's just how it is with this one. LEGO did change that much later on down the line, especially with Legacy. You'll see we got tons of duplicates, but Spinjitzu Master Cole. And then, like I mentioned earlier, Nia keeps her same exact skirt from the Ninjago movie, and she continues with the gunmetal gray design here, this time introducing a little more blue and some ninja symbols on the wraps here. Very solid minifig, and like I mentioned earlier, the angry Nia face that we never see anymore. The final Spinjitzu Master, Nia. Again, not the biggest fan of these personally. Harumi got a single minifig in this wave. She would get more in the future, but anyways, this is Princess Harumi here. Look at that beautiful cape with the flowers printed onto it. She used the same hairpiece as Lady Iron Dragon, the traditional Japanese makeup on her face there. Very fantastic minifig and a very rare one. This is Hutchins, Harumi's personal guard. I always thought the torso and legs would make for a great Sensei Lloyd minifig, so if I'm the only one who thought that, let me know, or if you actually agreed, like the eye patch. And then this Harumi minifig was from Sons of Garmadon as well. Just came in a wave later in the year in Hunted. Great arm printing and leg printing. The Mask of Hatred is noticeably a little bit different. The mouth is open a little bit more than on the set version. And then there is a face print of Harumi underneath. One angry and one looking very confident as she's beating Lloyd, I'm sure. This is Ultraviolet with the Mask of Hatred. Same face as the actual minifig over here. I love the design for Ultraviolet. All of the purple and black, and then her gray skin. Like, all of it just meshes very well. And then the character in the show was really creepy and awesome. The Sons of Garmadon just hit different, man. Over here, we've got both versions of Mr. E that came in this set wave. One without the Mask of Vengeance, and one with over here. Same face print underneath, but he just has the 4 arms. This upper torso is really cool. It's reusing the Ninjago movie one, so cool to see that come back. And then Kilo here, one of the rarest Ninjago minifigs as well. He came in a $50 set, and now the big fig itself is worth double that at $100. And then he had the Mask of Deception here, which you can just take off and have him look like the normal Kilo we see without it. You've got a few Sons of Garmadon members. In my opinion, not quite enough to be able to build up your army here. But they had a poly bag that included this guy here. So if you bought a bunch of that poly bag, I guess you could just swap out the head and hair. But different variations at least. These here are Jack's legs from Hidden Side. I just added that in so he didn't have plain legs. And then Lord Garmadon got 2 minifigs. One of them came in the Temple of Resurrection. And then we got 2... Wait... Where did... Because I have another Garmadon back here. Where did 3 resurrected Garmadon? Because one came in the Temple of Resurrection, one came in the Oni Titan. Did another one come in that throne room set? I'm not particularly sure. But anyways, I have 3 of the resurrected Garmadon. The bones poking out of his torso is super creepy with like purple blood dripping down. The face print doesn't match very well. It should have been the angry version because he never really smiles like this. Because this is like the pure evil Garmadon. And then this guy here came in a little minifig pack. Hence why he has side leg and side arm printing. Lego does not normally do that for the normal minifigs and sets. We got a brand new version of Samurai X Pixel over here. This time with that same creepy face we saw before, and then the actual Pixel face underneath. The white printed on black never looks good for Lego, so that was a bit of a shame. But overall, this just looks like an American flag version of Pixel, just in terms of the colors. A really solid minifig, and one I'm glad to have 2 of. And then the final SOG minifig is Baby Wu right here. He came in the Temple of Resurrection, a very cute little baby piece. Moving on to Hunted. Definitely got a lot more versions of these suits than we did in SOG. Lloyd here, one with the mask, one without. Really solid Wu Crew suit here, the little symbol up in the corner. And these differ from the rest of the ninja because the other main 4 ninja were stranded in the first realm. See, these are torn up versions of the SOG suits. Kai here is very interesting. He came with 2 different colored armor pieces in 2 different sets in the same wave. Don't really know why they switched that up, but hey, that just is what it is. This is the Dragon Flyer Kai from the $15 Dragon Flyer. 3 J's, just like we got 3 Kais. 3 Zanes, and then 2 Coles, along with the Dragon Flyer versions of each. And then Nia got 2 minifigs in this wave as well, continuing to stick with the all gunmetal gray mixed with some blue. This was the last time this would happen. And then I just gave Nia this island hairpiece because I lost the other hairpiece. And yeah, that's a common theme in this video. Sometimes Lego pieces just get lost, just how it goes. Moving on with the Hunted minifigs, we've got all of the Master Woos over here. We've got Teen Woo, we've got Dragon Flyer Woo, we've got Dragon Master Woo in the back there with the armor, and then the final Woo came in a book around the same time. The white and gold hairpiece using the man bun piece from the Ninjago movie is a great part usage, and then the white and gold combo looks fantastic over here for these 2 minifigs. Great to get the Ninjago movie hood piece in gold before that hood piece retired after this year. All right, you already saw this 3rd resurrected Garmadon. We got 2 Harumis in the wave. Great to get the accurate Harumi because we didn't get her in the SOG wave with this brand new hairpiece. And then the paint across her eyes, she looks very angry in the back there. She didn't really need a back torso print, at least at the top there, because her hair covers it. But always nice to get extra details. This saw the return of Skylar here. Wish she had a leg print and then the utility belt she didn't use in the show. It just looks kind of odd to me personally. She does have an alternate face where she looks a lot happier, so good to see that. And then using the same hairpiece they've been using for her for a while. I think just as a fan of the show, for anyone, getting another Skylar minifig was very much welcome. I was so happy to see her return in the show, and then to get an updated minifigure, just some great fan service there. Ninjago is really good at fan service, at least in terms of the minifigs and sets released. 2 Iron Barons came in the set wave, one in the Diesel Knot, one in the Dragon Pit. He was the main villain that the 4 ninja were facing off against in the first realm. Cool to see this top hat piece here. The peg leg gives me Skybound vibes. These guys are basically just Mad Max characters. The white skin is really interesting and unique, and then the paint across all their faces I like quite a bit. And then they have this brand new armor piece. For Baron here, he used it tilted off to the side, but for like the generic hunters, they had it covering up their face. It's like a grill ninja mask piece on the back. Very interesting stuff there. Chew Toy uses this classic armor piece, but it's all scratched up here. Really funny looking minifig. I like the pudge around his mouth there. Daddy No Legs here. Yes, his name is Daddy No Legs. Why they chose that name, I don't really know, but he has no legs. And he had an exclusive face print for this one minifig. You got 2 Jet Jacks in that set wave. I like the kind of like parachute printed on with the fuzzy printing there. Solid minifig. Great to see the Mohawk piece here being used. This was a new piece at the time. that could be onto the back. Very similar to the Dragons Rising Season 1 hood pieces, but just a little bit different. Those had less of a pointy curve. They were more just rounded about up at the top. The final Dragon Hunters from Ninjago Hunted. We have 3 heavy metals and then one of the arcade using this really cool like welding piece here with the little stripes across it, and then the arcade right in the middle there. See what you land on. And then heavy metal here had an exclusive face print, and that's pretty much it. Now, moving those out of the way, we're going to get on to Legacy, which, as you see, we have all of these figures here, and then there is more on another base plate. There are so many Legacy minifigures that LEGO made. I've got 3 of the main Lloyds here. Surprised I don't have more, because you're going to be shocked when you see how many Legacy Kais I have. And then we've got 2 Child Lloyds, 3 Golden Lloyds, one of them with the Ninjago Movie face print, and then the other 2 with this exclusive gold face print. One with a upside down smile, I guess, just more of a frown, and then this one where he's just powered up and angry, going crazy. Love these new Legacy mask pieces. They drape down in the back. Some people didn't like that because it didn't work with the old shoulder pads, but I just don't care because we got these new ones that fit them perfectly and left some room. Again, always love getting new pieces for Ninjago. And then we got 4 of the tournament Lloyds over here. This was a mix of the rebooted and tournament suits. I just refer to them as tournament Legacy suits because they look a lot more like the tournament suits than they do the rebooted ones. Then you can see back here, the final Lloyd minifig I have is his 10th anniversary golden edition from the Tournament of Elements set. Wish he came with the mask piece. He looks a little bit weird without like a half mask there as I remove all of these Lloyd figures off screen. But yeah, the Golden Ninja celebrating the 10-year anniversary are some of the best Ninjago minifigs ever, in my opinion. Moving him off to the side, now you get a nice look at all of my Legacy guys. Actually crazy. I have 9 of them, which if you bought every Legacy set, you would have, I believe, 14 Legacy Kais. So good thing I didn't buy all of them, but it's just kind of crazy how many Legacy Kais were in this set wave. It just was really not needed. I don't know what to do with 9 Legacy Kais, if I'm being honest. I got 3 of the tournament Legacy Kais. Still dislike this turd hair piece here, but it is what it is. I got a lot of Legacy J's. 2 without their 2 with like the actual, like these are just statues holding up the costumes, and then Jay actually in the suit for the rest of them. But going back to Kai, this is his 10th anniversary edition. It's supposed to be his Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitzu suit. And then this here is just like a training version of Kai. All those J's we already saw. I have 2 of the casual J's that came in the Ninjago City Gardens. I like this little smiley button he has here. Very reminiscent of the Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitzu suits. Moving on, I got a bunch more J's over here. We got 4 of the Legacy Tournament J's, 1 of the Battle suit, and then the golden suit is supposed to be his Prime Empire suit, just in all gold. Moving on, I've got a lot of Legacy Zanes as well. Of course, he did not get a tournament suit because he was not in the first part of Tournament of Elements. I still wish we had gotten a Legacy one for him because to have such, it just feels empty not having, you line up all the Legacy tournament suits and then Zane's just like not there, man. And it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. We got the weird battle version Zane over here, and then the golden Zane is, of course, Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitzu when he's powered up holding the scroll. This is probably when he's fighting Asphira, or perhaps when he first arrives in the Neverrealm. The final Zane minifig is the beginning of a collection that LEGO sadly never finished. This was the Legacy Possession line. We only got 1 Legacy Possession set before LEGO canceled the Legacy sub-theme. Super, super depressing there. Really cool to see this black and white Legacy Ninja mask. And man, these suits look so good. Can you imagine if we had gotten them for the full team? Just really big missed opportunity and something we'll never see, sadly enough. Not as many Legacy Coles, only 5, you know, just a few. Very funny. There, I've got 2 of the tournament Coles. I gave 1 a bright orange mask because I thought that just looked interesting. I don't know, just something different there. And then the final few Legacy Coles, we've got 2 of the casual Coles, from the Ninjago City Gardens. We got Battlesuit Cole with like this weird mummy suit wrap underneath, and then again, that bright orange mask looks really solid. And then our 10th anniversary Golden Cole. This is, of course, Master of the Mountain, which was Cole's season. So cool to see that that's what his minifigure is from. I have 3 Legacy Nias, believe it or not. I know, surprising that I don't have more. This one went all in with the Crimson Red this time, completely did away with the Gunmetal Gray, and then added in some of that light aqua blue in there. I love the Legacy Nia. I really like the idea of the Crimson Red for her. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I personally think it looks really good. And then you see the absence of the frowning Nia face. It is gone forever now. We got 2 Samurai X Nias in this wave. These 2 are different. This one came in the Legacy Bounty, and then this one here came in a Samurai X mech, but the torsos are different. One of them has her Samurai Phoenix symbol, and then one of them just has the Samurai helmet with the 2 swords. That's something we saw more with the Pixel minifigure, not really much of with Nia, so kind of interesting to see the variation there, and they do have the same leg print. 2 of the casual Nias, and then 1, of course, of the golden Nia. Love this new hairpiece they introduced for her at the time. Wish they had used it in the island, but they didn't, but they would use it for the tournament suits and Dragons Rising, so cool to see that there. Moving on to all of my Legacy Woos. I've got 5 of the Black Suit Legacy Woos. A really solid figure. I'm glad they picked this Sensei Woo suit to do a remake of. I just think it's one of the best looking ones compared to his all-white version. I got 2 of the gold Sensei Woos, except one of them is missing a leg print. This one, of course, was exclusive to Ninjago City Gardens. And then you could go on Bricks and Pieces and buy the whole figure minus the leg print. So that's what I did, and I just gave him some pearl gold legs. Move all those off to the side, and crazy enough, we still have a lot of Legacy figures to go, moving on to the next faceplate after this, but we got Misako here. Great to see her return. It was the same face print from the Temple of Airjitzu, which I just don't mind at all because it suits her so well. She had a brand new torso print, though, this time with like a jacket on, or a blazer, whatever you want to call it. It seems like something she would have worn in the island, but she just never did. She just stuck with her same option from the Temple of Airjitzu. So weird that this was never canon to the show, but I'm not going to say no to a new Misako minifig, especially when the last one came out 6 years before these 2 released. Ronin here got an update. He looks different. Even though Misako didn't change, they changed Ronin's design just a little bit, and they changed his character a little bit in the show too. I don't like this new design compared to the old one. His stubble is no longer matching the color of his hair. His eyes look a little bit different, and he's got this big weird smirk. But the actual Ronin suit itself looks really solid. This is a very subtle update. No longer olive green legs. It's just all sand green all the way down. But yeah, very subtle update to the OG Ronin minifig. I'm just glad we got new ones. Clutch powers here, you got 2 versions of. One came in the Gardens, one came in the Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitzu set wave. He has an alternate face where he's got his eye patch up like that. Really funny. I remember that moment in the show when Jay was like freaking out because he doesn't need the eye patch. It's just for show. And ironically enough, I don't have the OG Kate Child Lloyd, but of course I have the Legacy version, which only came in a $160 set, so kind of a funny detail there, but it's the same face as the Child Legacy Lloyd. And just like that, we're done with this faceplate. Let's move on to the next one, which has lots more Legacy minifigs. We've still got quite a bit of Legacy to cover, so let's keep things moving with what is perhaps one of the best Ninjago Legacy minifigures, the Overlord here. We never saw the Overlord appear like this with the ghost tail and 4 arms, and I don't know, it's a very strange minifigure. It looks like a combination of his pre-final form in Season 2 where he possesses Garmadon, and then a mix of like the Golden Master with this torso up here. It's a very interesting figure, and then underneath there's just that blank torso with like some purple goo. The face is probably my favorite part. That just embodies the Overlord so well, even though he's never had a particular face that looks exactly like that, but really solid. I love the 4-armed approach, and I do have 2 of them in my collection. Interestingly enough, this Overlord came with the Overlord Dragon set. This was an exclusive Overlord minifig. As you can see, the torso printing was different, as well as the face. It's a much creepier face under there. I mean, look at that. That is just the stuff of nightmares, in my opinion, but an excellent face print. And I really appreciate that they went out of their way to give us a new face print and torso, one that really matched the vibe of the Golden Master a little bit more, at least in my opinion. We got our third variant of General Kozu, our third and final variant. We haven't gotten any since. We got one with Season 2, then Day of the Departed, and now here in Legacy, and this feels like a very refined version, probably the most detailed, the most just nice looking overall. I don't know if I would say the most intimidating, but solid overall, the exact same face for the third time in a row. Honestly, I kind of respect the consistency there. This is using the Ninjago Movie Garmadon torso, and then the same torso and legs as the other Legacy Stone Warriors. I love the Stone Warriors, so getting them for the third time again here just did not bother me like it did some other people. They all have very similar looking face prints like you've come to expect, and the only variation here, there are no red or white face prints. It's just going to be green and yellow here. I'm going to try and get all these hats back on them. I only have one variant of like the Samurai Stone Warrior, but I have two of the Scouts and two of the Archers over here. Speaking of figures I have a lot of, though, I have a lot of Legacy Nindroids here, and you are about to see how big the collection is. So we've got 3 over here. They all reuse the same mask piece we saw back in Season 3, as well as Day of the Departed. Don't mind that at all here. New torso prints for them, no leg print, which is a little bit lame, but it's whatever. And then we have all of these Nindroids over here as well. Really large collection of Legacy Nindroids. It's because there was a minifigure pack with them, and then they also came in a nice majority of sets as well. But yeah, the one thing I don't like is the new face print. It just looks a little too goofy and cartoonish for me. I don't know, maybe I'm alone in that. But overall, these are solid figures. It's just the face print that I personally do not vibe with much at all. We got some more skeletons for the third time as well. This time, these ones did not have the boot print that we saw, or not boot print, I guess it's more of a boot piece, but we saw from Day of the Departed as well, obviously, as Season 1 when they were introduced. These just use the generic skeleton legs, and it looks really goofy in my opinion. They almost look kind of naked without any shoes. I don't know. It's just a strange detail, but of course we have Cruncha and Knuckle, and then we have 3 Whiplashes with 2 different variants, one with an open mouth, one with a closed mouth. So very interesting that they went to that detail there just to change the mouths. But yeah, Cruncha and Knuckle only got 1 variant of each in the set wave. We also got a brand new Lord Garmadon, as you can see here. I own 3 of this particular figure. Pretty solid remake. I like that they went back to this OG upper torso piece. The face print looks pretty generic, but it is Lord Garmadon. I mean, this isn't anything crazy, but if you didn't own a Lord Garmadon before, this is a really solid and accurate looking version to the show. So I appreciate it very much for that. Interestingly enough, the only Tournament of Element villains that we got were going to be Izor. No one else. We didn't get a Legacy Master Chen. We didn't get Legacy Anachondrite Cultists or Warriors. We just got 3 Legacy Izors. Very strange there. He was one of my least favorite of the Season 4 villains, so seeing him again, especially 3 times, I just wasn't that excited about it. Moving on to all the Serpentine we got 5 different variations. We got Pythor, who came back with this very nice snake tail piece. They were able to reuse that in Season 11 for Char, so it's great that they still had that piece in rotation and gave us a Pythor here, because he was a harder figure to get back in the day. So this one is very similar to the Season 1 version, so if you don't have that, again, a great, cheaper alternative here. Mesmo was exclusive to the Ultrasonic Raider, the remake that a lot of people hated. I personally didn't mind it too much. And then we got 3 Ratlas in this set wave. I love seeing the sand blue color used here. This was not used for the OG Serpentine minifig, so cool to see that introduced. I wish the snake headpieces had some printing on them, because as you see over here, Lashes has printing on it, but for some reason the Hypnobrai one doesn't, and it just ends up looking a little bit off, just a little bit weird if you ask me. Personally, of course, we got Spitta and then 2 Lasha minifigs. They look like Ninja Turtles the way their torsos are printed. They have like this big tan shell looking thing in the middle. I don't really know what that was about, but I personally am not a big fan of at least the Legacy Venomari minifigs here, especially like the weird like scales on their leg. I don't know, these just look off to me personally. Wasn't a big fan of those. We finally got the mechanic with Legacy here, so great to see him. I have 2 of the mechanic, which I'm very lucky to have. I just thought it was such a solid figure. I wanted a second one. Moving on, the final Legacy villains we got were the ghosts. We only got, like, technically, I'm going to call it one variation because they all have the same torso, like tail and face piece. The only difference is these 2 on the right have this exclusive ninja mask piece in the dark navy blue and dark purple, and then this one here just has a samurai hat. So they're pretty much all meant to represent Gultar. I think that just looks like Gultar's face underneath there, except they just threw some ninja masks on these, which I think looks really solid overall. A couple more Legacy minifigs from the Ninjago City Gardens. We got this Crook Girl. We got this guy with a tie. We got a Master Chen's Noodles minifig here. Cool to get that figure represented. This girl with like this green ninja torso print looks like she's a fan of Lloyd, and it says Lloyd on the back. That's kind of a cool little detail. Much appreciated there. And then we got a couple of like this training suit girl with purple hair, except she's a lot older. I don't know, very strange figure. And then this robot here came in the Ninjago City Gardens as well. I count it as a minifig because the box itself did. And so does Brickset. Before we get on to Season 11 here, I do have some Season 10 minifigs that came in a minifig pack. These are the Oni here. I was lucky enough to get 3 of that minifig pack, and it is now worth quite a bit right now. These were very special minifigs. I wish they had some leg printing, but it wasn't in the show, so I guess it's not the biggest deal. To make the Omega here, you had to add your own cape, which I did. This is the cape from the Lego Movie 2 Batman minifig, and I think it suits him quite well. But you got 2 Oni like warriors. You got a short one, regular sized one, and then you got one with the mask here. This one, I just gave it white horns because I figured it made it look a little bit different than the Omega there. But yeah, the Oni, very coveted minifigs, only were in a single minifig pack that was not on shelves for very long. So if you own any Oni minifigs, consider yourself very lucky. Move those guys off to the side. We're finally done with Legacy / Season 10. Now we're on to Season 11. Arguably, I don't know, the most divisive Ninjago season, either this or Crystallized. Season 11 is my favorite Ninjago season. I know that's going to trigger a lot of people out there. But setting that aside, I have 3 of the Lloyd main torso and leg variants, different headgear on all of them. What Lego did with these is you have the actual suits we saw in the show here. Just like that for all of the ninja with the mask piece. This was the Legacy mask piece, but with a symbol printed onto it, and then this brand new armor piece at the time. And then Lego gave us a version of the suit with a Forbidden Spinjitzu hood. And then in the spinners, there was an exclusive minifigure version there. I really like Lloyd's suit. The whole idea of these suits with the exclusive Forbidden Spinjitzu hood, you can see it back there for Jay, was very strange to me personally. I guess it added another layer of exclusivity to the sets because you'll see the one that came in the spinner has a different mask piece. This one is gold. This one is just all green here. The ones with the spinners were very special to me personally though. Really love that face print with power just like exploding out of his eyes. We haven't really seen anything like that, but what's so special to me personally was brand new face prints for the ninja on the back. We had not gotten alternate versions of the Ninjago movie face prints since 2017 when they were first introduced, so to get that here was very, very welcome. I have a lot of the Kai. He was very easy to get in this wave. Yeah, that's that. This one came in a minifig pack with clutch power, so it had the new mask piece here, but didn't have the new torso and legs. Very strange. Of course, the Kai with the exclusive hood piece there. Moving on, here is Kai from the spinner sets. Again, I absolutely adore the face prints on these. And then boom, smiling Ninjago Movie Kai. We had not gotten that yet, at least one that was more accurate like this. Really cool to see. Couple of J's here. Interestingly enough, they used more of like a lime green here, and these are both different greens, different shades of green for his hood there. So a very strange choice for Jay. I love the little smiley pin on his torso. I was able to get 2 J's. He was exclusive to the Land Bounty, but I ordered an extra one off the Lego Pick-a-Brick website. Back when that set was available. Really interesting. Jay here uses a lot of colors he doesn't normally use. So we got his obvious blue, but he brings in a bunch of silver and then green as well. Love his alternate face with a smile there. Again, not something we had seen yet. Cole here did not get a spinner set. Very, very disappointing. But that's just kind of the treatment LEGO gave him, and that's how things were going to be moving forward. Not all of the Ninja were going to be getting spinner sets anymore. It was just going to be a select few from the team. Moving on, Zane, of course, really great suit. One of my favorites. I love when they use that icy blue mixed with the white. I think it just pops so incredibly well. And of course, Zane here, the final Ninja with a brand new face print. Again, wish Nia and Cole had gotten these. But that's just the route LEGO chose to go. I only have one of the Nia suit with her hood, and then I have one of her with the Forbidden Spinjitzu mask. Nia is the Ninja I have the least from this particular wave of sets. Master Wu here is probably the best hero minifigure in the whole wave. He introduced this brand new face print here, so much different from the one we saw in the movie. He had a braid in back, so cool. I wish he kept that for longer. And then he had this exclusive cape piece here. This is a very valuable Master Wu. This was also the only Master Wu to include crimson red printed onto the torso, as well as this dark brown mixed with his usual white, and of course this golden dragon symbol. Just a phenomenal Master Wu, the best one we've ever gotten. And yeah, he's worth a lot of money on the aftermarket for a reason. Clutch Powers here, you saw him earlier, but this is just the one that came with this wave of sets in that minifig pack. Now moving on, we're going to move Asphyra out of the way because I want to quickly cover the last hero here. This is Akita. She is also the minifigure, at least. Very, very rare, this exclusive hair and like cap mask piece, I don't know, mixed together. This face is her with like that very arrogant smile, and then this is her when she's upset, probably fighting Zane because of what he did to her people. And then the $15 Lloyd's Journey set included Akita in her wolf form. The three tails are cool, and I appreciate the posability with the head here. I wish she could go up onto her legs like they did with a lot of the Lego animal pieces, but I guess that the special mold for the three tails might have made that impossible. They would have gotten in the way of her standing up like that. Anyways, moving on to the villains for Season 11. Asphyra was the main villain for the Fire chapter. This minifigure will always just completely confound me. I don't know why it's so inaccurate compared to the show. And when given the choice with Crystallized to make it right, they didn't. They give her a ghost tail. Asphyra is a snake. She should look like Char here. In the show, she has just a snake tail. The snake tail piece wasn't out of production. LEGO was using it for Char, but they just didn't give it to Asphyra. Instead, they gave her this ghost tail piece. Now, from an aesthetic point of view, I think the ghost tail piece, yeah, it's very cool. It meshes well with the translucent orange up here for the firepower she stole from Kai. I think the all gold design mixed with the white mummy robes, super solid, super unique. I just will never understand why they chose to give her the Spectre tail piece instead of the snake tail piece, which, again, this is not what she looked like in the show. Char is a solid snake here. The all black, he looks a lot like a Constricti, but he meshes in a little bit of these red symbols and then uses this brand new armor piece we saw in Asphyra, as well as all of her mummified pyro whippers. It's a very like ancient Egyptian looking piece, and that's kind of the vibe they were going for. All of these guys were sealed away in a pyramid. I have quite the little army here. I bought the whole Season 11 wave of sets. 4 there. 3 more over here that we'll set off to the side. And then the final one is this Whipper here, who does not have the flames coming out of his head. He's just a little bit more normal looking, a little bit more mummified. This one only came in the one set, the $50 Kai vehicle from that wave. So he's a little bit rarer. Then the villain of the set wave, set in the Ice chapter, is the Ice Emperor himself here, the ruler of the Neverrealm, and Zane himself. Really love this minifig. It's one of my favorite Ninjago minifigs ever. The new helmet and armor piece just look insane. Again, with that icy blue matching Zane. The clues were there all along. The face doesn't look like Zane, but it's because he was wearing a mask over his face. Just a beautiful minifig. That armor piece still just astounds me. General Vex here, a really solid villain who took control of Zane. I have 2 of him as well. We got this just samurai ice warrior here, and then I have a very large ice warrior army back here, some of them without some of them without hats or helmets. The reason this is because I ordered a lot of extra ice army pieces off of Bricks and Pieces, or it's Prick-a-Brick now. but to build my army for my stop motion series. So that's why I have so many of them. That's why some of them are missing like helmet pieces, because I just gave them hair pieces in my series, just because they didn't have the helmet pieces available on the website. Now, that is all we have for Season 11. One of the best waves for minifigs, sets, and I just love the season overall. Let's move on to Prime Empire. I have 4 Prime Empire Lloyds here. These ones introduced brand new ninja face prints, very similar to the Forbidden Spinjitzu ones, but this time the whole team got them, except for Zane. Lloyd here, the alternate face print is like this video game looking mask. So he looks, obviously he's in a video game in this season. Love the new mask pieces that were introduced. Love the new armor pieces. I wish they didn't stick out as much on the back, but that was so they could hold up their lives over their head. This mint green we had never seen for Lloyd before, haven't seen it since. So this really makes this particular Lloyd minifig stand out. This is honestly one of my favorite Lloyd suits just in general. Setting all these guys off to the side. We have Lloyd's avatar design that came in the arcade pods. This one is interesting to me. I think the torso printing is not great. The yellow just printed onto a darker color like green just does not work. I do quite like the new Lloyd face print underneath though. Cool to see some gold coming back in his design with the arm and legs. And then just a really upset face underneath. He even has like this little digital goatee. I think that's really funny. And then the mohawk was an interesting choice. But again, this is a video game. You can do what you want with your avatar. So that's what Lloyd did. You got a lot of Kais in this wave as well. I personally got 3 from all the sets that I bought. He had a brand new face, a really scared looking one, suits him perfectly. Great to see that finally. And then Avatar Kai is another fantastic minifig. I like him a lot more than Avatar Lloyd, solely because we got the turd hair piece in a brand new color here. I like the fire symbol on his pants down there, and then just the whole tech vibe of the torso. This is a really solid minifig, and the face there is perfect for the red Shogun. Now, J was the most common minifigure in this wave, and that is because it was a J season. Over here, you can see I have 5 of the J minifigs. Of course, new face for him. That is the wrong face. Okay, that's interesting. Prime Empire J with the wrong face. This is what we get when it's my personal collection and not every minifig ever video, because these are all my J's. Anyways, that's the right face with a smile there. Very interesting, good to see. Avatar J is my favorite. Love seeing his hairpiece in this new white color. And then he actually has an alternate face, unlike Lloyd and Kai. Look at that, rocking out there. And then he reuses his Prime Empire suit leg print. Not a big deal because it meshes with the vibe of the suit very well. 2 Coles. One came in the Temple of Madness. One came in the $10 Junior set. His might be my favorite new face print other than Nia. I don't know. I love that. It's such a goofy expression. Fits Cole perfectly. Avatar Cole off to the left here is pretty trash. This one came in the Ninjago, not Ninjago City Markets. It was a $30 like minifig pack. Anyways, it had a bunch of Prime Empire figures. This was the design they chose for Arcade Cole. Looks terrible to me personally, just a generic like city flannel torso. Interestingly enough, you only got 1 Nia in the entire set wave. I'm lucky to have 2 because at the time, figures were going on sale before the set wave came out, so I bought one of the figures ahead of time. And that was this one right here, and then this one came from the set wave. Her face is currently in use in a custom minifig, so that's why I just put some studs underneath the mask there. Cool to see some of the gunmetal gray come back. This was obviously very short-lived, but cool to see it come back. I do like that color for Nia. They really just can't decide on a color for her. It's very funny. Yeah, Arcade Nia, pretty bad. This is Prime Empire Zane. This is non-canon to the show. There was no Prime Empire Zane suit included in any of the set waves. This is a completely custom minifigure I bought from Little Brick Minifig off of Instagram. But happy for me personally, just because I was able to complete the Prime Empire suit collection. I don't like having empty suit collections. And cool to see this new face for the movie version of Zane, or his disguised Snake Jaguar version, if that's what you want to call it. We finally got Pink Ninja Zane. This was his like avatar suit set of the wave, even though this didn't appear in Season 11. This was just Lego doing some fan service here, giving us a minifig from early on in the show that we had never actually gotten. Let's keep it rolling with some more Prime Empire minifigs. These three here are the last heroes of the season. We got Okino right here, a favorite character of mine from Prime Empire. I absolutely loved him. The face doesn't match him very well. He was never this angry. Usually he was either serious or he was smiling. I wish we got a smiling face for Okino. But it is what it is. And then he has this brand new hairpiece that Unagami also uses. Okino just has it in a black and crimson red here. This is Scott over on the right here. This is the set version. This is a custom version because the one on the right is his avatar version from the game. Turn that around. Got an alternate face. He really looks like Jay with that alternate face. A lot of people thought it was Jay when this figure was first revealed. Utilizing that hidden side hat hood combo, really cool. And then this is my custom Scott right before he went into the game when he was granted permission to play it by Milton Dyer. So moving on, we got the main villain of the season. This is Unagami, Unfinished Adventure Game 1. He has this alternate face on the right here. Looks like he's kind of just chilling. We never saw him like that. Whenever he was in this form, he was angry like this one in the middle. So anyways, love getting new piece. Ninjago always introduces new pieces for characters every set wave. This one for the villain here was this new beard piece and then this new hair piece, which we already saw in Okino. The dress piece looks really nice, and the fact that they printed onto it just really elevates this figure to the next level. One of the better Ninjago villain minifigs, at least in my personal opinion. We got the sushi chef here. He only had one minifig in the whole set wave. He came in the Temple of Madness. This guy here uses the same ninja armor piece that was introduced in this set wave, and then this like bald piece with the wrap around it from the Ninjago movie. We saw the return of Harumi, and many of us would not know this, but this would not be the only time she returned, because she does return in Crystallized. But she used the same hairpiece, same head as the hunted version, except she was just in this jumper suit in her avatar form in the game, because this obviously wasn't the real Harumi. That character was dead. This is supposed to be a reference to Kill Bill, the actual suit here. It's the same version that the main character in the Quentin Tarantino films uses. Moving on, you've got a small little army of the Warriors of Unagami here. I like the 404 printed onto their torsos. This here is the actual face print they used in the show. They did give you an alternate one that we never saw them utilize, but this is really cool and creepy. They look really angry there. He looks like he's got some kind of teeth or something. Same armor pieces as the ninja, but in black, and then they introduced these new visor pieces here that can go down, cover their whole face, or can come up like that. I really like these guys as villains. Just wish we had gotten a few more to build a little bit bigger army, because the other villains we got, I don't think we needed this many of. I mean, we have 3 Richies and then 3 of the pink rat over here. Anyways, I don't like these very much. The helmet, or not the helmet, the head mold is cool. This is a whole new mold, really elaborate, dual molded. But the actual design of the characters I don't really care for. I think the sand green, bright yellow, like this big, like pixelated piece of cheese, this like pixelated skull. I just think it looks kind of goofy. Not a big fan of them personally. And then the final Prime Empire minifig we have is this little sushi bot here. These were attacking Jay and Nia in the Empire Temple of Madness set. Now it is time for Master of the Mountain. I have 2 Master of the Mountain Lloyds here. These introduced a new armor piece that looked very medieval, and then a new mask piece that, of course, looked like if you mixed a knight helmet with a ninja mask, so very unique there, all using the same Ninjago movie face prints. I love seeing this forest green used in here, and then the little diamonds on his torso, the armor pulled across. This is a really solid Lloyd minifig. And then the Spinjitzu Burst minifigs. These were the gimmick sets of this wave. Only 3 characters got them, Lloyd being one of them. Interesting to see this Legacy mask piece reused for like the billionth time here. I love the face underneath with like this power just like leaking out of his one eye. It's not both eyes, it's just the one eye. Torso is great. Leg print sucks. I wish they had come up with one that matches the torso. Lego really does this often. Gives them like a new torso, new face print, but then just gives them like generic ninja pants. Like, this is a powered up version of Lloyd. There should be power exploding everywhere. You know what I mean? Anyways, I will say the Master of the Mountain figure division was really, really solid, because you get at least 2 of every figure in terms of the ninja suits if you bought all the sets. Two Kais here. I'm not the biggest fan of this Kai. I don't dislike it by any means, but the giant breastplate just covering up everything just doesn't give off the same amount of detail as something like Nia back here. Speaking of Nia, here she is, back in her gunmetal gray in all of its glory, mixed with some tan for the first time. Very unique there. It looks like it's keeping her warm. It's probably quite cold down in the caves. You got 3 Nia minifigs in this wave, so interesting to see that. Zane got 2. Zane is my least favorite Master of the Mountain figure. The way these are supposed to work is this is supposed to be armor covering up their Season 11 designs. The thing is, Zane's just look like his Season 11 design with a belt strapped over it, versus Nia looks like there's a lot of armor, extra armor added on there. Same with someone like Lloyd. But Zane's just doesn't look different enough, and I think the gold doesn't mesh too well with his silver face print poking out from underneath. And then you have the icy blue as well, but that's not included in the torso or mask at all. It just feels like a very all over the place kind of minifig to me. This is Cole, the main ninja, so great to get 3 of him because he is the main character of this season. This Spinjitzu burst Cole is really solid. Just again, I have an issue with that leg print. Jay here got 2 figures in this wave. And then Kai, this is the Spinjitzu burst variant of him. Again, love seeing that power leak out of their eyes. I think that's a really cool detail. Master Wu got a new minifig. I absolutely love this version. This is Battle Master Wu. So it's using that same face print as we saw in Season 11. No cape here. I kind of wish we had gotten a cape again, but same leg print as the Season 11 one, just a new torso here. That's the main difference. And then this armor piece as well. This is Princess Vanya. She was included in the Skull Sorcerer's Dungeons, and that is the only set you could get her in. She uses this Lego Friends hairpiece. The reason you can tell is because there's a little pin in the side to pin like a bow or something into. That's what the Friends sets were, and it's very rubbery, which is what the Friends minifigs utilize. She has an alternate face where she's smiling. This is a great minifig, represents the character from the show very, very well. I wish she came in more sets instead of just one $100 set, but I'm glad we at least got her. The main villain of this season was a little bit harder to get. You had to buy the 2 expensive sets if you wanted to get him. This is the Skull Sorcerer. I think this is one of the better looking Ninjago minifigures, but when you compare it to the show, I think it's one of the biggest missed opportunities, if that makes any sort of sense. Talking about the leg print here, this is the dress piece, just like Unagami, utilized very, very well. No back printing, but not really needed for the design of the figure. Great torso, love the wings, love this new skull piece, and it has like goo coming out of its mouth. Let me get that to focus. Look at that. Very creepy. That is the skull of Hazadur that gave him his powers. Face print underneath. They went out of their way to include this creepy face print too. The big problem is this, the mask piece. So from just an objective standpoint, this is a very cool minifigure mask piece. Throw that on. He looks so creepy. But in the show, the eyes glowed and it had a whole mouth that he would talk with. There is no mouth on this thing, no glowing eyes. I don't know if that's something that could actually be done with the piece. I get this is a very complex piece they had to make here, but you'd think maybe it could have been painted on with some of the details Lego does. Printing, maybe not, I get, because it's a curved surface, but just feels like a missed opportunity to me personally. But as a figure itself, when you're not comparing it to the show, the Skull Sorcerer is just phenomenal, and I'm so glad he returned in Crystallized. His army here, you did not get to build a very big one. You've got 3 of these warriors here utilizing that new skull piece. I don't really like these guys that much. They're pretty generic. They make sense in terms of what they do in the show. Like, he raises them from the dead with his, like, wizard powers. But just as minifigs, they're really not that interesting to me personally. And then these guys were portrayed as villains in the actual set wave. But if you've seen the season, you know that the geckos and the munts here are allies of the ninja, at least later on in the show. Always great to see more sand green. It is my favorite Lego color. I think it looks great. Really clever part usage to bring back the Dragon Hunter armor piece here and recolor it in brown and tan. I think that works really well with these guys. My biggest complaint with the geckos and the munts, as we clear the munts out of the way, is the fact that we didn't get more variation, because in the show there is a lot of variation. We only get male munts and geckos, and there are a lot of female versions of them too, so to not get that's a little disappointing. all of the months are the same. I appreciate with the geckos, they at least gave these two hoods and then gave these two guys the hat and earpieces. The geckos do have alternate faces, so you can swap that around and give them a little more variety too. So the geckos are like objectively more diverse than the months, but even then I still don't think it's going as far as it should. Now we are on to season 14. That probably triggered a lot of you. I'm just kidding. This is the island and it's a Ninjago special. It's not a season. They introduced these brand new ninja wrap like hair pieces. So they have a bandana wrapped around their hair pieces. Finally, we get 32 thread count for Kai from Possession. If you get that reference, you're a true Ninjago fan. Lloyd here introduced this new face print for the island with like this, I don't know, like paint that's painted on. It's meant to make him camouflage. It works pretty well. This one here, I rubbed the paint off so I could just get a good generic like neutral Lloyd expression, and I think it works pretty well. They reuse the same armor pieces from season 11 that we've seen a lot of by now, but I don't mind that. It's a really solid piece. Kai here, wish they would give him a smaller hairpiece. I still don't like the movie hairpiece, but it is what it is. These island suits are really solid overall. Jay and Zane look great. I love seeing like exposed torso for Zane because we see his power source when that happens, and that looks really, really cool. Zane here does not use an armor piece. He uses a bow and arrow quiver, which, you know, that fits fine. It's not a big deal. Jay here, I shaved some of the mask off because in the actual special, they have their masks, their half masks, under their mouth for most of it. So shave that off, and I think that looks pretty good. I want to do that to the rest of the team at some point eventually. It's just going to take time. So whenever I have that kind of time and feel like messing up my minifigs, I'll do it. The final island minifig on this faceplate is Nia here, continuing on with the gunmetal gray and light blue. So cool to see that there. Unfortunately, she did not get a hairpiece with the bandana wrapped around it. She got that with her golden not Crystallized, the golden 10th anniversary figure. We'd have to wait until the Tournament of Sources to actually get that hairpiece on an official canon suit, though. Let's keep things rolling with the island here. The final ninja suit on this list is Island Cole, and I actually have two of these, even though the set wave, if you bought the entire set wave, you only got one Island Cole. I found one on Bricklink for like $5, and this is the only set we ever got this man bun hairpiece in black with the bright orange bandana. They didn't bring that back for the Tournament of Sources, even though all the other ninja got bandana hairpieces. They never brought this piece back for Cole, so he is a little pricier on the aftermarket. But again, when I found an extra one for only $5, I couldn't say no. Had to add it to the collection because I do really love Island Cole. I think the hairpiece really carries. Wish we had seen it come back for the Tournament of Sources. But yeah, whenever they include a lot of gray in Cole's suit, I just think it looks really nice meshed with the black and then that bright orange. Yeah, Island Cole is a great minifig and one I'm very, very happy to have two of. Now, I guess the villains, if you want to call them that, of the set wave, were the Keepers here, or the Islanders, whatever you want to call them. I believe in the actual sets they called them the Islanders, but in the show, obviously, they were the Keepers. This is Chief Mamatis. Again, if you bought the whole set wave, you got two of him. This headdress piece is incredibly elaborate, dual molded, teal and gold. And then it has like some gold detailing printed onto the front there. Incredibly elaborate piece with these little spike pieces that get placed in like that. Funnily enough, I made a stop motion fight video of Lloyd versus Chief Mamatis. And when I first got the minifig, I forgot to put the little spikes in. So the headdress looked like that. And I had a lot of people pointing out in the comment section that I got that wrong. Great to see capes in Ninjago. This is the new style of Star Wars cape. So doesn't really have any starchiness. It just very moldable. You can move it all over the place and it's not going to tear or crease or anything. Chief Mamatis has two very similar looking faces. One just has a more open and angry mouth. I wish we got a little more chilled out expression because, again, these guys were not villains in the show. They were just very neutral parties. Yeah. I love the purple color. It's like a light lavender violet almost. Super, super unique. We've never seen a color like this in Ninjago minifigs before, and we never saw it again. So I think the Keepers really stand out just for that fact alone, and I love seeing teal in Ninjago. This is when teal was starting to make a comeback in LEGO, so they put a little hint of it here with the Keepers. So great to see that. Moving on, I don't remember this guy's name, but he has the two heads. I remember him joking around a lot with the gift of Jay. I think the whole idea of two heads stacked on each other is really funny. I like that they went to the work of giving them different expressions too. I think if they had stuck with like the same generic Islander face for both, that would have looked really strange. So the top head is going to be exclusive because, as you can see with all the other Islanders, they have this kind of grinning face here. But yeah, really like this guy, and he only came in one set. Now, moving on to my actual Islander army. I only have 5 of them, sadly. I wish it was a little bigger, but again, the island was a very small wave of sets. I love the tiki mask on these guys. This is a brand new mold, and this is meant to kind of reinvent the Lego Islanders 1990s sets. This looks very similar to what we saw with those minifigs back in the day. The only difference being these are way better, way more detailed, much better printing, and the mold itself is more complex. I mean, look at that curvature around the back. That looks so, so good. And again, just the super sharp details. There's no hints of the tan underneath poking through. I mean, the paint job is just incredible on these. And it's going to be the same, very similar face for all of them underneath. And then for these two over here, we have those Ninjago Movie tan hats, and they're going to have separate faces as well. So a little bit of variation here, which I do quite appreciate. And that's going to do it for the island. A very small wave of minifigures, but a very solid one, in my opinion. Let's move on to Seabound, one of my personal favorite Ninjago seasons, a very beloved season by the community, which had a very solid wave of sets, and these introduced some very unique ninja suits here. These are scuba ninja suits. So the ninja went underwater. It's kind of a goofy idea in concept, but they really made it work well in the show. Very emotional season. And there were new pieces introduced to this new mask goggle piece here, and then the air tank piece, which you could literally fit a sword through in the back. The thing I don't like about these is it doesn't fully, like the breathing apparatus doesn't fully cover their mouth. So his just angry, teethy smile, or whatever you want to call it, is just poking through, and it just looks very, very strange to me personally. The mask does help to kind of cover that up, and you can't tell when it's on. But again, if you take the mask off, it just kind of takes away from the illusion of play here. And the way this is constructed is very interesting. So it attaches at the hips down there with the utility belt and at the neck up there. Very elaborate piece here. I feel like they almost went a little too far. They could have just given him the normal utility belt piece and had this just kind of hang off the back. But I do appreciate the extra detail, and it does stay on very well. It's not going to come off because it is attached in 2 separate areas. I have 2 Scuba Lloyds here. One came in the Hydro Bounty, and then the other came in the little $20 Lloyd Max set. I've got 2 Scuba Kais over here. I really like the orange for Kai. Whenever they bring in like that Keat orange color, brightish orange, it looks so, so good, just contrasted with all of his red. This, of course, is a non-canon suit because Kai was at the monastery for the large duration of Seabound. I only have 1 each of Cole and Jay because I did not get Jay's race car. That would have included a duplicate of each of them for my collection, but I just didn't get the set because it didn't interest me. Anyways, Cole's suit, of course, being non-canon because he never went to Merlopia. Jay, of course, is very much canon. I have 2 Zanes over here because he was included in 2 sets in this wave. Love seeing his heart right there. Whenever a Zane suit shows his power core, I just think it looks so, so cool. And then Keat Orange for Zane is really interesting and unique, but I think it blends really well, surprisingly. Again, a very unique thing they did for the Seabound wave for Zane, and I think it paid off. It really makes this figure stand out. The final Ninja minifig is Nia, and this is my biggest gripe with the minifigure distribution in the Seabound wave. Nia is the main character here, but she only comes in 1 set. Her main ninja suit that you see for the entire duration of the season. 1 set, and it is a I believe it was $130 for the Hydra Bounty. So yeah, if you're a kid and you're watching the show and you want the main ninja, you got to fork over $130. You have no other options. So that was really disappointing to me, especially because of how much I love this Nia suit. Again, the Keat Orange, a theme with these Seabound suits, and I think it looks so good on Nia too. And it's a really cool way to unite the team, like this little symbol in Keat Orange underneath all of their gear on the outside here. Love this aqua blue color, and then the very subtle hint of gunmetal gray. I think this is a really solid minifig, probably my favorite ninja out of all of these Seabound suits. And then, of course, Nia became one with the sea in this wave. You get 2 of her powered-up versions, but only 1 of the main ninja, so very strange choice there. But this is such a phenomenal minifig, I'm not even complaining. Look at this insane hairpiece here. It's got translucent, glittery detail, dual molded with this dark, like navy blue bandana around the back. That looks absolutely incredible. The translucent arm looks so good. And then she has this really cool looking face underneath. And then I love like the tidal wave printing. This is one of the best ninja minifigures just of all time. It looks so, so good to me. And I'm very glad I have 2 of them. All right, the final couple of heroes here. We've got Bentho. Benthamar is his full name from the show. Really interesting sand blue. I like seeing a sand blue make a comeback here with some gold printing that does shine under the light, as you can see. He was a great character in the show. I wish we saw more of him. I'd love to see him come back at some point. And then really appreciate the duality of expressions. You got that very happy face and then this very angry face, probably when he's attacking Kalmar, because Kalmar literally killed his father, which still one of the darkest things to happen in the Ninjago TV show. I can't believe they actually went through with that. And then we got 2 Woobots here, one with a hat, one without. This is a printed tile, and then these are exclusive leg prints to these guys. And I believe they came with some like trainee ninjas down in the core line, but we'll find out when we get there. Anyways, very strange inclusions. These were never in the show, but the concept itself is cool enough, so I'm not too upset about it. Moving on to the villains, if you bought pretty much the whole set wave, you got 3 Kalmars. Feels a little bit like overkill to me personally, especially when you only get 1 Nia, but Kalmar is such a fantastic minifig that I really just don't have much to complain about. Look at this insanely elaborate new tail piece they created just specifically for Kalmar and for Seabound. Really over the top there. And then he has this brand new headpiece here. I mean, look at the dual molding on that. Again, love seeing Lego implementing this teal color. I think it looks so, so good. And you will notice once we get these Kalmars out of the way that they really went for the teal with the villains here. I think just the brightness of the teal contrasted against the gold and black. Again, just beautiful. Ninjago minifigure designs never miss. This right here is glutinous. You can have him scurry around on these spider legs here. He has an exclusive torso print, but the head is going to be the same as all of these. And this is that whipper head we saw back in season 11. And believe me, this is not the last time we'd be seeing it. Anyways, that's it for Seabound. You get a bunch of these Murray guards here, so nice that you can build a little bit of an army there, at least more so than in past set waves. And now we're moving on to the incredibly controversial Ninjago Crystallized. Lloyd here in the actual set wave itself got 2 different suits. So you have the just regular suit here that he wore for a duration, and then you have the powered up Oni Lloyd here. This suit's solid. I like the introduction of tan for Lloyd, and we would see it for the other ninja in their just casual suits like this for the wave. Oni Lloyd is an all-timer Ninjago minifigure for me personally. Just looks beautiful. I don't really mind that he's missing the 4 arms. I think the figure would have been better, but as is, this just looks so freaking cool that I just don't care. Wish he had some kind of new face print underneath, like an Oni something or other would have been cool, but it wasn't necessary, so not really much of a valid complaint from me there. Lloyd also got this samurai suit in a book that came out around the same time as Crystallized. This is non-canon, a very strange choice for a minifig, but I'm not complaining. Samurai Lloyd, like, that's a very cool concept. Love seeing his elemental symbol on the back there too. Kai himself got 3 different suits. All 4 of the main ninja in this wave got 3 different suits. And if you bought the whole Crystallized set wave, you were going to get doubles of each of the main 4 ninjas' golden suits. So that's pretty cool. I like the little elemental symbol on Kai's here. And then the golden armored up suits are really cool. Again, it's just these casual suits with a bunch of gold armor and a gold ninja rat piece. Very solid idea. Crystallized really delivered with the minifigs here, and we haven't even gotten to the villains yet. And then the final Kai minifig that you would get in this wave are the Dragon Form minifigs. These introduced a brand new armor piece that you could clip their wings into. Of course, I didn't include those here because they wouldn't fit on the base plate. And then they had this brand new dragon mask mold. Absolutely incredible. Dual molded, translucent red and gold. You can kind of see in there the dual molding. And then translucent legs, arms, and head. Everything is translucent except the torso because LEGO themselves has stated that the minifigure would be poor quality if they did a translucent torso, so totally get that. Love that face print underneath. Very confident looking smirk there. Jay here. Love the mix of the navy blue with just his classic blue color and then that little hint of tan I was talking about earlier. Of course, 2 of the golden J here, solid. And then Dragon Form J, very interesting that LEGO has used yellow here because they used green before, like a lime green for his lightning power. And then here they go with yellow. I think yellow looks a little bit better than the lime green. And then this really nice face underneath. He looks pretty peeved right there. Cole here, pretty much what you'd come to expect. Love seeing the gray and the bright orange implemented. Always 2 colors I appreciate for his character. The Dragon Form Cole is really solid. Love that face underneath. That just looks perfect for Cole in my opinion. And then the like rock just bleeding out. Looks like lava, rocks, just, yeah, these Dragon Form figures are perfect, man. Zane here uses some gray, which we don't see very often, but I think it works really well mixed with the tan there. Very unique figure. I think the gold one has a few too many clashing colors with the, I don't know, just the whole idea of the gold and the bright light blue I don't think mix too well, but that's just my personal opinion. And then the final Dragon Form Ninja is Zane here. He's probably my favorite, either him or Kai. I love all of the ice shards on his face. Very nice. And then again, ice shards just shooting out of his torso there. And then Nia only got 1 minifig in this wave. You've seen the season, you know why. She basically just died and then came back. So this is a new piece right here on her helmet, just for the, I don't know what you want to call that, the blades up top. Like seeing the light blue mixed with the gunmetal gray, and then the little hint of crimson there. And then this is new, all of the gold for Nia. We have not seen gold like that for her before, so this is a very unique minifig. And then you got the Samurai X symbol there in the middle. I'm surprised they went with that instead of her typical Phoenix symbol when she is dressed up as Samurai X, but hey, still a solid decision. Master Wu got one of his best minifigs to date in this wave here. Love all of the gold here, and then the return of the dragon armor piece. He's still using that same Season 11 face, as you can see from the back. So much gold worked into this figure. I think it looks so, so good. The Crystallized wave was just like, everyone likes golden ninjas, so let's make every character gold. I mean, even Skylar has gold armor here. I think she's missing a leg print because she had a leg print in the show. I just rewatched Crystallized the other day. Don't know why they didn't go with that, but I absolutely adore her new face print, even if it's non-canon. She has war paint painted onto her in a very angry expression there, so really solid Skylar figure, just missing a leg print. Great to see the return of Lil Nelson after, what, I think it was 6 years that we had not gotten a figure of him, so great to see him here, especially after his role in Season 11. Really nice face there, but I do prefer the one on the back where he has this ninja mask wrapped around his mouth. Very cool stuff there. And then the torso print underneath, he has a new symbol with pink there, so no more squirrel elemental symbol anymore. And then, of course, using the hidden side Jack's piece, hood piece mixed with the hat. Really solid figure. Final, I guess, hero is Lord Garmadon here in his Oni form. He needed to have the 4 arms because, I don't know, his Oni form was much more important than Lloyd's, and every time he always had 4 arms and wings. I mean, you can make it yourself if you have extra parts, but not everyone does. So, a little bit of a disappointment there, but I love this Oni mask piece here being used for Garmadon there. And then we get to the Overlord, the Crystal King himself. I have 3 different versions in my collection. This is the official one that came in the sets, and then this is the official one that came in the Overlord mech, and then this one is just a custom version. I added gold legs and gold horns, just made him look a little bit different because I thought it looked cool. This upper torso piece here was introduced with the Ninjago movie, and then underneath they went the extra mile and gave him a very creepy looking face. I absolutely appreciate that from LEGO. Really solid minifig, one of the best Ninjago villain minifigures overall. And you're going to see that with the rest of the minifigs in this wave. LEGO just completely went all out. We've got all the crystallized generals over here. I was really happy to see the return of the Harumi minifig, and they all have these crystallized purple looking eyes. Even Pythor over here, even Vangelis underneath the mask piece here. great to see the return of all these villains. I love the Wild Brain villains personally, and then Pythor, Mr. E, Harumi, just really good stuff. I like this brand new helmet for I guess he's Mr. F now because he's a new version, but this was a brand new helmet piece at the time. And of course, like I mentioned earlier, Esphira is still inaccurate with the Ghost Spectre tail here. The final crystallized villain is the Mechanic. He's on the other side, didn't fit here. Yeah, really love this new armor piece that all the generals have as well. It's like a translucent, crystallized armor piece. Good stuff. And then Lego really lets you build up your crystallized army. Look how many crystallized soldiers you got here. There were 2 different variants. One with the half gunmetal gray and crystallized chest, and then this one is just like fully crystallized compared to the other. This was a brand new head mold for these crystal zombie warriors here. Absolutely impressive. One of the better Ninjago villain factions, just in terms of overall design. They didn't really do much in the show, but they look so freaking cool and scary. And I really appreciate, like, look at this army. This is probably the biggest army that I have built for my Ninjago villains, besides maybe the Wolf Mask army. I mean, if we just compile all of my Crystal Warriors right here, I mean, look how many there are. So really appreciate Lego letting you build up a nice sized army. The final 2 crystallized minifigs we've got this Woobot here. I believe this came in the Samurai X-Mech set. It's those same prints that we saw from Seabound, just a little bit of a different build design. The final minifig is a custom one. This is Fugidove. I made him myself. He had such a big role in the Wild Brain era, at least in terms of comedic relief, so I just wanted to have one in my collection. I used Ninjago Movie torso and leg print from one of the civilians, the chicken suit guy. Wings here, and then this face is a Monkey Kid face, as you can see underneath. I think it suits him really well. The helmet is the only thing that I would have changed, but I just don't have the right pieces for it. So, moving on to core, I kind of have just like an ungodly amount of core minifigs for how much I dislike core, but I just bought all the sets, at least most of them at the time. I don't know why. I love Ninjago, that's why. Anyways, Lloyd's suit here. So my main issue with all of the core suits here, and you're going to see this for most of the figures, is how they look from the back. So they opted for a different color with the legs than the torso. So with the printing on them, it looks fine. But when it's unprinted from the back, there's just such a stark color jump here. I will say, I like the core suits a lot more since they were featured in the show finally. Before, when they were non-canon, I just didn't really like them. But now that they're officially a part of the show, I appreciate them a lot more. I think the whole idea of having like these dragon scales on the side of Lloyd's torso is really cool. And it's always great to see them vary up the color here. Lime green is something we really do not see enough from Lloyd. And I have 4 of the core Lloyds. Interestingly enough, Lloyd got this non-canon golden suit here and like a little mech set. I don't know why this suit exists, but I will never say no to more Golden Ninja. Really solid symbol printed onto the back there. And he's just all pearl gold parts with some green and black details printed on. Final core Lloyd minifig is this Spinjitzu Burst one here. Really interesting to see them bring back the Spinjitzu Burst mask pieces. Of course, non-canon, but he had a brand new face print underneath. Look how scary that looks. Lloyd is very mad there. And then Lego repeated the same problem that they've been doing with these powered up minifigs for a while. It's just not giving them a new leg print because this minifig looks perfect except for the legs. Moving on to Core Kai, I do have a lot of these ones, and he is one of my least favorite core suits. Again, just because of the way he looks from the back. I mean, that just doesn't mesh very well, in my opinion, but I do really like how much Keaton Orange is in this design. Again, whenever Kai brings that in, it just contrasts with the red so incredibly well. No weird golden suit for Kai like Lloyd got. In fact, he was the only one with the weird golden suit. And then we have Spinjitzu Burst Kai here. This is going to be the same face print as his dragon form underneath. Really solid reuse there. I don't mind that a bit. Really cool. This is the only Kai mask we've ever gotten with Keaton Orange being the base color instead of black or red. Got a solid amount of Core J's. This one is very interesting to me because of the more sand blue used mixed with the yellow. We've never seen a J suit like this before. I mean, yellow literally on the hood, and this is like a light yellow. And I think it looks really solid. It makes this J minifig stand out well. Again, just does not look good from the back. Very common theme with the core suits. Not as much yellow on this J here. And then the hood, though, I think it looks yellow greenish to me. I can't really tell which color it is. Lego can never seem to make up their minds which translucent color they want to use for J, whether it be lime green, light yellow, dark yellow. So it's always switching. Cole is the core suit I have the least of. I only have 3 of the Cole core suits. I think this one's okay, but definitely one of my least favorites. I don't like the dark tan. I just don't think it meshes too well with the black and orange. And yeah, I don't like the regular orange base color for Cole. I definitely prefer the bright light orange that he's used in the past. 3 Zanes as well. This one is probably my favorite core suit just because it meshes so well. If you look from the back, since they used all the same colors, he meshes perfectly. All of these are reusing the Season 11 armor piece, by the way. It's such a great armor piece that I don't mind, as well as the Legacy hood pieces, but all in new colors here, so I appreciate that. And then, like I've mentioned so many times in this video, any suits that have Zane's core / power source showing is really cool to me. And a big theme they went with these is like these kind of dragon scales on the torso prints, and I think that looks really sweet. The final core minifig is Nia, at least in terms of the Ninja team. I have so many of her. She was in abundance in the set wave. I don't really know why it was her over the others. Still doesn't look too great from the back. But again, pretty typical Nia colors here with the gunmetal gray and light aqua blue all mixed together. But yeah, I have 7 core Nias for some reason. Moving on, Master Wu got a brand new figure in this wave. One of them had a gold hat and the others had tan hats. It's back to the Ninjago Movie Master Wu face, unfortunately. No more Wild Brain era with the ponytail in the back. That's completely gone now. I'm a little bit sad about that. This Master Wu suit is really solid to me. I love when he includes a lot of tan. This one gives me vibes from the Airjitzu Master Wu suit, and that's one of the all-time greats. So really solid here. Probably my most favorite minifig from this wave of sets was getting a brand new Pixel, finally with a show-accurate hairpiece. This was the first time we ever got this show-accurate hairpiece. It's the Nia hairpiece in the silver color here. It's a little bit off because it should be shinier, but I just don't mind because maybe Lego couldn't make that in the shinier silver color. Either way, she has a smile and a frown. I think it suits her really well. And then this suit here, I don't think is canon, but it looks very similar to her Sons of Garmadon and Hunted suit, where she basically just has the American flag colors. So I find that quite funny. 2 ninja students, and yes, they're using the same leg print as the Woobot, just as I thought. They had this brand new torso print for each, but pretty generic head and hair, nothing too special there. I think this guy had an alternate face, yeah. And then I don't think the girl had an alternate face either. But yeah, the only new thing about these students here was their torsos, and of course they were not canon to the show. The final figure is a Minifigs here, or a Pixel Bot, whatever you want to call her. I believe she came in the J-Mech, and there were lots of Minifigs in the show, so cool to get one here. And then the main villain of the first wave of core sets was all of the Geo Whippers. I don't really know what else to call them. This one here has drills on his shoulder. I think that's kind of funny. The overall idea of the Geo Whippers I don't like. I'm really tired of seeing snakes in Ninjago, especially ones that I just don't really think the color design looks that appealing, like orange, teal, silver, mixed with some gray in there. I think the hammer fists here is a cool idea, mixed with this bulked up armor piece. So this is like clearly a destroyer whipper. We have not seen these in the show though, so they are technically not canon. And then here's the rest of my core whipper army. Pretty sizable, but again, it's not an army I really want much of because I don't care for their design. Oh well. And then you get 2 small ones here as well. Moving on, the Bone Warriors I like quite a bit more, even though they aren't the greatest villains ever. I think their colors don't mesh perfectly, but I think the concept is way more interesting than snakes for the 1000th time. And these are canon to the show, at least. I have 3 Bone Kings. I stole the cape off this one to give to Noct, who is on the next baseplate. You'll be seeing him pretty soon. I think the Bone King is a cool concept. I'm glad we at least got a leader for this army because there was no leader for the Geo Whipper army. They just kind of governed themselves, I guess. I don't really know. Great to see this new Mr. F helmet reused. Great to see the Master of the Mountain armor piece reused. This is a brand new like mask piece here with like fangs, and it's glow in the dark. It's cool. It's just, I think there's too many colors meshing here on these Bone Warrior minifigs. Here are all of the rest of my Bone Warriors over here. The two different torso designs, one with the chains and then one with like the mummy wrap for some reason. I don't know what that's about. The big belt with spikes on it and a skull is pretty cool though. I like that concept. But yeah, the Bone Warrior army, it's okay. I appreciate that they made it canon in Dragons Rising, so it at least has a point to exist. And now we get into Dragons Rising here. Finally, it's taken us a couple of hours. But this is the modern era of Ninjago. All of these figures at the beginning here are from the Ninjago City Markets. Before we delve into the actual canon Dragons Rising figures, this is Detective Zane. They finally gave us a Detective Zane minifig after so many years of waiting. Really great figure. I loved Ninjago Confidential, so great to see this here. This is a brand new face print for Zane as well, with that very confident looking smirk. Why do I have 3 Detective Zanes? Well, my answer to you is why not? I bought a couple extra off the Lego Pick-a-Brick website just because I love the figure so much. Blacksmith Kai is kind of lame. He doesn't look exactly like he does in the show because Lego didn't want to make a new torso and leg print, but I appreciate that they at least recognized the existence of Blacksmith Kai instead of giving us just another generic civilian. And there are so many other great figures in the markets that it's just hard to complain. Speaking of great figures, we got Dareth here, a fan favorite character and one we have not gotten yet. At the time, this is his Sons of Garmadon appearance when he's running Laffy's, and he does have an alternate face that I think works very well. Him singing there, singing his heart out. Classic Dareth right there. Great to see his typical chain around his neck. The suspenders look really cool. And yeah, I have 3 of this minifig as well because why not? Speaking of 3 minifigs, I have 3 Hound Dog McBrogs as well. I don't know, I just love the Ninjago City Markets minifigs so much. I saw them go up on Pick-a-Brick, or at least some of them, and I just wanted to have extras. So that's what I did. This character is really solid. I don't know if I would have chosen him over the Commissioner. We still don't have the Commissioner, and he's played a much bigger role. But Hound Dog McBrog was a big part of Crystallized Part 1, so glad to get him here. Personally, alternate face looks really, really good, matches the character well. Cyrus Borg here, we got in his regular attire for the first time ever. Hard to believe it took, what, 12 years, I think it was, to get him in his regular attire in his wheelchair here, despite his numerous appearances in the show. No alternate face, unfortunately, but this is about as perfect of a figure we could have asked for. This looks exactly like he does in the show. Racer 7 makes her debut here. Unfortunately, it is an inaccurate minifigure compared to the show. The hair and the face are perfect, but we really could have used her iconic green suit. But I get why they went with this Bionicle torso print. I think that's a really cool callback for Bionicle fans. And it's going to be used on a lot of sig figs for people who love Bionicle. So for that, I do appreciate it, even though I don't care about Bionicle. For the fans out there, I think it's a really cool idea. We finally got Gail Gossip and Vinnie Folsom. Unfortunately, Gail's hairpiece from the show is no longer in the Lego mold system, so they had to give her a different hairpiece. So she's not fully accurate here, but it's whatever. I do appreciate that they also gave her an alternate face print where she looks very scared, perhaps when Asphira takes her captive and asks her to lead them to the museum. Vinnie Folsom is great. I would have liked a different face print for him, but again, it's whatever. This one matches well enough. And then we got the NGTV written in Ninjargon on the back of his torso. Moving on, the final Ninjago City Markets character, at least in my opinion, that was great, that we had been wanting, is Misdemeanor here. I think in the past I called her Jet Jack at one point. You can't blame me. She has the exact same mohawk. But great to get Misdemeanor here. She was a big part of the Wild Brain era as well. I love the gunmetal gray mixed with the red here. It looks really, really solid. Then we got some generic civilians here. What I like about these is these 4 introduced brand new torso prints at the time. The sand green robes is something I really like, and then just some plain sand green legs. Really appreciate that. This is the sushi chef from Prime Empire. Great little detail there. This guy looks like he's working really hard, sweating on the job. And then this dragon torso, really, really solid. You could almost use that for the Ninja minifigs when they're running Wu's tea shop. And then this is a Borg store employee. So you have the Borg Tower logo on there and then her name written in jargon. Very cool minifig in detail. I bought some extras of the torso in case we ever get a Borg tower. I would just make some more Borg minifigs that would be, this could work for like a Borg security guard, and then just some generic minifigs. Nothing new about these, but I'm never going to say no to extra minifigs to just kind of beef up Ninjago City with. I think that's part of what made the markets so great, is they went to the work of giving us new generic, like not generic, but new city characters with new torso prints, versus the Ninjago City workshops. The generic city characters we do get didn't have new torsos to match Ninjago City. They had like generic city torsos. I'm kind of saying the word city too much, but you get my point. Now it's time for the Dragons Rising ninja suits. A lot of people really dislike these. I don't understand why. I'm personally a very big fan of them. I think their only flaw is that you actually have to damage the character to get the look with their mask down. I think that sucks. You gotta like bend the armor piece. You gotta file it down to get that off, but it's not the most difficult thing in the world to do. I have 4 of the Dragons Rising Lloyd here. This is the new green they introduced for him. We're heading away from this little bit darker green we had seen for so long. Brand new mask piece, of course. So the hood on top is new, and the mask piece down here is brand new. Interesting to see this white here. That's not something we see very often with Lloyd. Something I really like about the Dragons Rising suits, besides the new mask piece, which I quite like, are these symbols with the circle around them down in the corner. I think that just looks really clean. And then you can fit 2 katanas in the back, and there is also a Source Dragon printed onto the back of their torsos. Moving on, the other Lloyd minifig from Dragons Rising Season 1 I have is the Dragon Core version. This one was not canon to the show, but still a cool idea. I love translucent arms on minifigs. It's the same face and everything, but the hood itself has an actual print on it. And something I did not point out with all the Lloyds is that they finally gave us new Ninjago Movie face prints for the first time in a while. This one matches Lloyd perfectly, just kind of an upside down smile. A little bit of an upset frown there, but he's not in full rage mode. So really great and useful face. Kai gets another great and useful face. I've got 4 of the main version of Kai, and then I've got the Dragon Core one as well. Kai's here has a very confident smile. Great to see that come back. That suits the character perfectly. I like the little flames printed onto his hood here. It looks a little goofy by itself, but with the powered up, it looks great. And then again, that Source Dragon on the front of their chest. Only 2 J's in the entire set wave, but that makes sense because this character is non-canon. Brand new J face print though, looks really great, that angry face here. I took the J from this suit, at least the face print, to make Agent Walker over here because that's what he was up to in Dragons Rising Season 1. I used an Ultra Agent's torso and legs, and it has an A on his name tag for Agent. I think that just works perfectly. So really happy to have an Agent Walker figure in my collection. Not one from the official sets that we got, but just a custom minifigure I made because we've never gotten Agent Walker as an actual character in the sets. The final Dragons Rising minifig I have on the Space Blades is Cole. We only got 2 Coles in this wave as well. His new face print is fantastic as well. As we switch it over to the back, you'll see that Source Dragon symbol again. Again, very much matches his Prime Empire face where he's just looking very happy and expressive. It's just perfect for Cole. And then I love seeing the return of the bright light orange. I think it works so much better than just the base orange. And just like that, we are already on to the last base plate. This is number 6 of 6, and this is going to cover the rest of Dragons Rising Season 1 all the way up to Dragons Rising Season 3 Part 1, with all of the sets that released a couple months back. Now, the final suits we have to take a look at here, we're going to start with Zane right here. This is honestly one of my favorite Zane suits. I love how much of that icy blue is in here. This is some of the most we've ever seen LEGO use that icy blue color for Zane, and I just think it looks so, so good. And then Zane does get a new alternate face that is absolutely perfect, matches the character so well. We've never really seen a neutral expression like this for Zane before. They're always emoting some kind of emotion. So to get a neutral face print like this is just awesome. Makes me so incredibly happy. And I have 2 of this Zane minifig. Something interesting about the Nia one is I have 4 of the base Dragons Rising Nia suits. Now, when I initially first bought the whole set wave, you only get 1 Nia if you don't buy the 4+ set and you don't buy the markets. So I waited to build the markets, but I built the whole first set wave, only had the 1 Nia. Then I built the markets, got another Nia. She is the rarest figure out of all these suits. And then I got the 4+ set, so I got my third Nia, and then I saw she was on Pick-a-Brick for very cheap, so I got a fourth one just because of her rarity. So I ended up with 4 Nias. As to why, I don't really know, but I'm not complaining. And then her alternate face is fantastic. Big smile right there. She looks really happy, really confident. This is kind of the face I imagine she's making when she reunites with Kai in Season 1, Part 1. And then she is the final ninja to get the whole Dragon's Rising, Dragon Core, whatever you want to call it, powered up version with some water splash on the hood, Source Dragon symbol, and then the translucent blue arms. Moving on, this is the first of the 2, or I guess you can count Wildfire as a ninja as well, of the 3 brand new ninja minifigures. This is Eren. I have 4 of him. He's using the same armor piece as all the ninja, and then he has this brand new hood piece to kind of differentiate himself from the others with these horns on it. I think that's a pretty cool design, very unique. I don't know if it fully meshes as well as the other suits, but I like it for what it is. And then you can see Eren's face underneath there. And because he does have the short hair, he does not get an alternate face like all of the other ninja do. But yeah, he was a pretty easy minifig to get in this wave. That's why I have 4 of him. And then this here was the one exclusive to the Ninjago City markets. This is the same torso and face as the ninja version. The only thing different and unique is going to be the legs here. And then this was a good way to get his hairpiece because it's not included in a ton of sets, unfortunately. We got more of it in the Tournament of Sources wave. But yeah, when the markets came out, this was the best way to get his hairpiece at the time. And these legs still remain exclusive to the markets. The final Eren minifig is this one here. He came in the Build a Minifigure little section at the Lego shop. So if you went to your local Lego store, for a very short time, this and the Sora one over here, these were both available. Now, they had exclusive torso prints. Neither of the torso prints are canon, but what made these so special is their brand new face prints. This is a new Eren face with him flashing like a toothy smile. I do wish it was a different face print. It matches his character really well for the first 2 seasons, but Eren really turns and joins Roz, gets angry. I just really want an angry Eren expression, so too bad we didn't get that there. I do really like this. This reminds me of what like a core suit Eren might have looked like with if you had like actual leg printing. I guess you could take one from Skylar or something and then paint a hood Keat orange. But yeah, really cool minifig. I'm glad that exists. And same with this Sora over here. She has the cat logo looking very grumpy on the back. I like that. This hairpiece is very inaccurate, but they did give us her actual hairpiece a little bit later on down the line. Just have to be patient. So we'll get to that. We didn't have to wait too long. But I've got 3 of the OG Sora suits right here, and I will have more because they released it, and plenty more sets down the line, but this is just them from the initial wave. This new cat ears hood piece is pretty cool. I like the coral color for her hair. I think that's really bold, stands out, and matches with the coloring on her torso. And she did get an arm print. Sora has like a metal arm, which is a really cool detail. That arm print is fantastic. And to see that on a main character minifig that we got throughout the sets was just really, really great. So her smiling face here is with the powered up eyes. And then on the back, her normal face is really angry. Sora is almost never angry like that, so that's why this figure was such a big deal, because it was just a normal smiling Sora face. Wildfire shockingly only got 1 minifigure in the entire wave of sets. It's shocking because this Wildfire that we're going to see later on down the line has like a bazillion. But the OG Wildfire, there's only 1 of. This was a Monkey Kid hairpiece that they recolored for her character. Love the sand green, orange, tan, crimson red. I think it all meshes together really well. I wish we got a different face print for her. I mean, I know she's angry like this, but one on the back would have been nice with her smiling or something, especially because the hairpiece would have covered it up. So, interesting there. This is baby Ryu, whatever you want to call him. In the show, they call him Ryu. I have 4 of these, but I do have a few more because, again, they brought this mold back later on down the line multiple times. This is a really solid piece, though. Really cute baby dragon. Looks good to me, and it's got 2 connection points. Sits on the studs like that. And then the print detailing is nice. I like the lime green eyes and the scales printed across. Yeah, just a really solid little piece here. Moving on, this is the spirit of the Temple of the Dragon Energy Course Temple. That's a mouthful. This guy is pretty sweet. No printing on the back of his dress piece, but that's fine. This guy has some Ninjago symbols on the back, and then if you look closely at his torsos, there's some little like spirit faces poking through. That's really funny to me. This is his resting state here. Looks like he has whiskers with the green lines right there. And then switching it around, this is like when he's an actual statue and hasn't come to life yet. It's hard to see the face under the light because it's black printed onto forest green. So it's very, very dark. I'm trying to focus the camera, give you a little bit better look. Hopefully you can see that. But yeah, definitely prefer this other face here because you can actually see it a lot better. Now, the main villain of season one was Empress Beatrix here. You get 2 of her figures in the full set wave. She's got a really angry face and then just a regular angry face. She has this brand new armor piece for the time. You has a single stud on the back, so you could attach like a clip and then clip a pike, like a spear, a bow, a sword, anything you want. Really cool. Gunmetal gray and black meshed together with the gold looks nice. The thing with Imperium is they use a lot of black and gold, and I think that looks really, really solid. I love the whole like tech printing over her eye too. That really makes this figure unique, and then this was a brand new hairpiece at the time. Don't really like Beatrix as a character in the show. I thought she was a pretty weak villain, but the figure itself is pretty solid. She just needed a cape. They probably didn't include it because the armor piece would have squished it, but she did have a cape in the show, so it would have been nice to have some kind of representation, maybe have one of them include a cape and one of them have the armor. Just a thought. Anyways, this is Raptin. I've got 4 Raptins. That is 3 Raptins too many, but he came in a lot of sets, and then he came in a polybag as well. He's got this alternate face with his teeth out. He's got like these gold teeth on the bottom here, very interesting, and then this is more of a neutral expression. Everyone thought that this was going to be a Crux at the time, Crux at the time, because he had the same hairpiece and he had these goggles covering him, but obviously that was not the case. And again, more of that black and gold here, and he has that same new armor piece as Beatrix, but in black here. Moving on, this was our introduction to Lord Roz, and I don't think any of us at the time knew how big of a villain he was going to be, but I'm glad to see how far he's come. My biggest problem with the Lord Roz minifig is the fact that they didn't print his teeth white. That's really disappointing to me. The whole head kind of blends together too much just in that full black color, and they have a little bit of printing up top. The eyes and the symbol up here look really good, but I just don't know why they can't print the teeth white. I think that would make this a perfect minifig. As is, though, it is a phenomenal figure. Again, arm printing here, just an insane level of attention to detail, and he looks really good without the armor piece on, too. I love this torso and leg print. And again, man, just look at that arm print matching the top of his head, and then you have the gold cufflinks, and then full-on back torso printing. This Roz minifig is just fantastic. And again, it's just really cool to see how far he's come. If you bought the whole set wave, you would get 4 Rozes, but I skipped out on the junior set, so I only got 3. Only is a funny word to say there. Only 3 of this one character. Anyways, here's some Imperium Warriors. These guys were the less common versions. The most common version of the Imperium Warrior was this guy here, the gold, just foot soldier. Interestingly enough, you get a bunch of these generals and black foot soldiers that are not very prevalent in the show. The main foot soldier, you only get 1 of in the entire set wave. So you're building an army of like commanders and generals and stuff that are barely seen in the show. So very weird with the figure distribution there. But again, I'm such a sucker for pearl gold minifigures. This looks so, so good. The new hat piece is really funny. It looks like a frying pan. You could probably attach a bar piece to it and it would look like a giant frying pan. But yeah, like these guys, printing on the back of the head, back of the torso, just really solid stuff for this first wave of Dragon's Rising figures. These guys here had a very unique helmet piece as well, if you look at that. Almost gives me Mad Max vibes, but looks really solid. The black and gold, again, just mesh really well. A couple more of these over here as some figures fall behind the table. I can't wait to go get those in a minute. Anyways, yeah, really solid villains here. I love the design, very unique. They didn't do much in the show, but as a design, they look really cool and unique. Moving on to Season 2, Part 1. These are the mech suits here, starting with Lloyd's. You get 2 of him if you bought all the sets, and then Nia you get 2 of. And the rest of the Ninja you only get 1 copy of, which is a little bit disappointing, but we did get 2 new suits in a span of 3 months with the Climber suits as well, so that was really cool. These introduced a brand new mask piece here. This was very similar. It was like a mix of the Legacy and Possession ones with that dual molding, but no strap at the back hanging down, so you could use this with any type of armor piece. A lot of people appreciated that, myself included. It was great to see a new mask piece once again, and this new spring green color for Lloyd mixed with the gold and the dark forest green. Just a beautiful, beautiful Lloyd suit, one of my favorites. And again, I do not mind them reusing this Season 11 armor piece so much because it is so solid. Looks great on the back there with, I can't tell if that's just random symbols or if that's actually Ninjago there. If you know, please let me know down in the comments below. Now, moving on, we have Climber Suit Lloyd here, and this came out in March of 2024 with this brand new armor piece. Probably the most elaborate Ninjago just armor mold we've ever seen. It's dual molded. Look at all of that gold detailing there. I mean, absolutely incredible stuff. You could fit 2 katanas at the back. Again, the only problem with this is the same problem with the Dragons Rising Season 1 characters. You can't pull this mask piece down like they do in the show. So if you want the ninjas to actually have their full facial expression out, you have to take the armor off. And that really is disappointing to me. I wish LEGO could find a way around that. But again, as a minifigure, when he's all suited up in his armor and mask and everything, he looks really good. This is Master Lloyd here in his sensei robes. I've got 3 of this figure, soon to be a 4th because of a building challenge I'm doing at some point soon. But anyways, he reuses this Ninjago Movie face print. I honestly don't mind that because we hadn't seen it in a hot minute at the time. So bringing it back was pretty solid. Great to see. It's the Island Lloyd hairpiece, but with the spring grain bandana this time instead of his normal green color we'd seen before. Lots of white here. I love the dragon symbols up on top, and then around the back, a source dragon symbol. Yeah, this is a really great minifig. I think the only thing that could have made it better is a cape or some kind of very subtle armor piece would have looked really, really cool, but just my opinion. Overall, I'm glad we finally got a Sensei Lloyd minifig. Kai over here looks really great. This is one of the best Kai minifigs of all time, in my opinion, in his mech suit. Still rocking that awesome face underneath. The mask looks so, so good. The crimson red, dual molded with the bright red, gives me Hands of Time mask vibes because that's exactly what they did with that suit. This one just has a little bit different because it's the gold, and then we got some Keat orange, as you all know I very much love. And then this Kai here came in one of the Dragon Flyers, and he has the gold mask here, the gold and red mask that is exclusive to that set for some reason, but the rest of the figure is the mech suit we already saw. So very interesting there. Climber Kai is the only Climber suit to have a duplicate figure in its set wave, so interesting that he was the choice. But he had a pretty large role in Season 2, Part 1, so I understand that. I like his suit a lot. The Climber hooks, the ropes, yeah, Keat orange, the Climber suits are solid. And then in the Dragonstone Shrine, we got a repeat of his Season 1 outfit, this time with the ninja wrap hairpiece instead of the mask on top, so very interesting reuse there. Moving on, got a couple of mech suit J's here. This one is very easy to get. He came in a $10 set. And of course, he is non-canon, as is the Climber suit J over here. But I just really appreciate LEGO going out of their way to give us complete suit collections, especially for people who display the ninja suits. Having an empty space where J was for, what, 3 or 4 suit waves in a row would have been really disappointing. So for them to give us these figures here, I do really appreciate. Definitely does not go unnoticed by fans like myself. Cole here, using that base orange color again. I think it looks a little bit cleaner this time because it's mixed with gold and tan. I just think it blends a lot better, and it doesn't go too hard. It sticks to the mainly black color. I think the mask looks great. This one differs from the Hands of Time because the Hands of Time used a lot more gray in that suit, but this one has a little bit of gray in the sash tied around his waist, so I think that looks pretty solid. Zane here, this is the only Zane minifig where I think gold works perfectly. Usually I think it clashes too much with the silver underneath here, and I think they should go for silver, but this one just does it perfectly. There's so much of that icy blue color, and then he mixes in the gold, that really cool circular symbol on his chest. The armor just complements it so well. Just a beautiful, beautiful minifig. These mech suits are fantastic. Now, this Zane here opted for gray and gold for the armor piece. A very bold choice, very different, but I think it worked out perfectly. Love how the Climber suits look. I know I already said that, but this Zane is pretty unique because of how much gray is included in this suit, but I think it works pretty well. And then 2 of the mech suit Nias, again, the gunmetal gray and light aqua being the primary with just a little bit of crimson there. Really great design choices in my opinion. This is the Nia that came in the Dragonflyer, so again, just the mask piece is going to be exclusive. Rest of the figure is the mech suit. And then really crazy to see this 2012 armor piece still being used here in 2024. That thing has really survived the test of time. Climber suit Nia, interesting to see some Keat orange in there. That's giving me Seabound vibes. And then this Nia suit here was in the Dragonstone Shrine. Just a repeat of her Season 1 suit, but with the Ninja Wrap headpiece. Now, Aaron only got one new minifigure in this wave because he reused the same suit. So you got that same suit again, and then you got this technically new figure because of the mask piece. It's a mech suit hood for Aaron, but with gold mixed in this time. I wish Aaron and Sora got mech suits because Sora just got a repeat of her Season 1 figure with the hairpiece out. And then Wildfire got a new figure in this wave. At the time, we did not know how overused this figure was going to be, but for what it is a really solid minifigure. This was a brand new hairpiece introduced for her in that bright, like reddish orange color. Still sticking with the same face print, unfortunately, but the suit design is awesome. Love that they brought more crimson into the design. They completely did away with the sand green, unfortunately, but I guess she is a fire ninja, so it makes sense, or I guess heat ninja. And then the little smiling fire symbol on the back is kind of goofy to me, but I don't really mind it. Moving on, we have one of the best Master Wu figures of all time. I said before that I like when Master Wu has tan on his suit, and this time they just went all for it, did away with pretty much all of the white here. There's just a tiny bit of white and gave him all tan and dark tan. It looks so, so good, so unique. Looks like he's got this cloak wrapped around him. And then you see the hood of the cloak on the back, and then his classic symbol we've seen before. One of the best Master Wu figures. Again, reminds me a lot of the Temple of Airjitzu Master Wu, which might be the best one of all time. We got Euphrasia as a minifig here. Great to finally get her, not have to wait very long. The face print is the only thing I would change because she doesn't really laugh and giggle like that in the show. Would have nice to have been getting like more of an angry or neutral expression because she does deal with a lot of hardship from Roz and the Wolf Mask Army. And the set did include her hairpiece as well, and then this white hood for her to wear so she looks more like a Cloud Keeper. Cool to see the baby blue used, it mixed with the white. I think that does really give off Wind vibes. Very good figure. We got 3 Lord Rozes in this set wave. Unfortunately, no printed teeth, not something we're going to see anytime soon. No arm printing for this one here, but honestly, I think this figure works perfectly fine without it. I do prefer this over the Imperium one, even without the arm printing. I think bringing purple into the design was a really great idea. Printing on his head still stays the same though, and then they bring in like this creepy icy blue and then an all black color scheme underneath. Really matches the darker vibes of Season 2, Part 1. And then we got 2 new villain figures introduced. The first one being Cinder. I got quite a collection of Cinders here. I don't really care for this alternate face right here. I don't think it looks very much like the character in the show, but this other face here is good. Again, I just wish we had a more accurate facial expression, like an angry one or maybe a powered up one when he's using Shatter Spin would have been really cool. I love this hairpiece. We're going to see it later on for Twitchy Tim. We also saw it for Benthamar a few years back. And again, matching it, the rest of the Wolf Mask Army is the navy blue, like darker navy blue color scheme. I think that looks really solid. And his head is completely translucent, if you couldn't tell. So good stuff. Moving on, we have Jordana over here. I got a nice amount of Jordanas as well. She was from Dragon's Rising Season 1, but she converted over to the Wolf Mask Army because she hates the ninja so much. She has this really angry face over here, and then this really creepy smiling face on the back, probably when she's using her spells against Sora, or maybe you could even use this when she got possessed by rocks, because that was a thing that happened. But yeah, kind of sad to see Jordana and Cinder just dip from the show, at least from what we can tell from the trailers. And then my Wolf Mask Army is huge. So we got 5 over here, and then we got 5 more over here, and then we got 3 of the hooded ones. So the hooded ones are non-canon, but all of the ones with the wolf masks here, completely canon to the show. This was a brand new piece at the time, dual molded with the wolf mask tied around the back. I think that looks really cool. And then you got that face print underneath, and then when they're powered up from Shatter Spin, glowing blue like that. Really cool design. These are some of my favorite Ninjago villains. I think they look so good in masses like this. Very intimidating with those big teeth. And again, you see them able to have the teeth colored on these ones, but not on Lord Roz, which is just a little bit disappointing to me personally. Now, the hooded ones I was talking about are, of course, not canon to the TV show. It's really interesting that they made them like this. I do appreciate a little bit of variety, at least. And this is a nice hood piece. This was newer at the time. Again, printed in this dark blue color for the first time. So it's a cool idea. It's just kind of weird considering they were never in the show. Now, we move on to Season 2, Part 2, the Tournament of the Sources. And we still have a lot of minifigures to go, believe it or not. Not a ton of minifigs for the Tournament of Sources. We would be getting a lot more in the Season 3, Part 1 wave. But if you bought the whole set wave, you would get 2 of each ninja, which feels like enough, I guess. It's a little bit strange that most of the sets were very expensive, but it is what it is. I really love these Tournament of the Sources suits. Great to see all the bandana hair pieces return. Great to finally see it for Nia over here, included on the main ninja suit instead of just side non-canon suits. So really great stuff there. I love the dragon sash hanging off all of their suits, and then the dragon scales on the suits. That is so cool. They just went all in with the dragon scales. Something they had done very subtle hints of before, but here they just went all in. Lloyd reusing that Master Lloyd hairpiece with the newer spring green. And then Kai's suit over here is, of course, non-canon to the show. There was never a Tournament of Kai. Tournament of Sources Kai. Tournament of Kai would be kind of cool. Because he was trapped in the void, I think it was called. And an interesting thing about these figures here is they had a brand new armor piece. This was very similar to the Skybound armor piece, just looks a little more elegant, especially around the back. You got some detailing on the scabbard. Very cool piece there. I always love seeing new pieces for the ninja. Very much appreciated. Moving on to Cole over here. If you bought the little poly bag too, if you were lucky enough to find it, Cole came in that, so you could have 3 Coles. He just didn't have his armor piece. And like I mentioned earlier, Island Cole's hairpiece, not reused here because it's out of the mold rotation. Very, very sad because all of the ninja, besides Zane, whose hair is literally metal, have their hair in a bandana. So a little bit disappointing there. Cole is probably my least favorite out of all of them. He just doesn't really pop as much as the others. Cole got a brand new exclusive minifigure in the Titan Dragon Mech. This is Mech Suit Cole. We've never seen Cole with this much white before. And then there's just random black on his mask. It's a very strange looking figure. I'm personally not the biggest fan of it. And I think it just doesn't look that great. It looks a little bit better with the black underneath the eyes there. But again, the mask just feels kind of out of place. If you take the mask off, and let me find the Cole minifigures that I threw over here, and give him a hairpiece, it looks a lot better because there's no like black suit coloring jumping out at you, versus with the hood on, it just feels very out of place. I wish they had given him like a white and orange hood or a white and gray hood. I just think that would have looked a lot better. Now you get 2 Zane minifigs in this wave. Zane is pretty solid here. He's reusing that SOG face that we've seen many, many times because it has the printing on the back. There's no alternate face. So yeah, don't mind them reusing that, even though it's not the most accurate face of all time. Moving on, we've got Tournament of Sources Aaron and Sora. I do have 2 Aarons, but one of them is currently in use. I'm filming a stop motion project called Aaron's Destiny. If you want more info on that, check out my Instagram, and I'll be posting a teaser trailer here on YouTube probably pretty soon. But anyways, Tournament of Sources Aaron, great to see new suits for both Aaron and Sora. Unfortunately, Sora would not get another new suit in the next wave of sets, so they really slackened there. But anyways, great to see this. This is Sora's hairpiece. Great to see that. We waited a long time for this hairpiece. It did come in the 2024 Season 2 Part 1 sets as well. That was its introduction, and then we got it more in mass here. I think this hairpiece is pretty much perfect. It would have been nice to have the coral pink printing on the cat ears itself, but it's not a big deal to me personally. And then yes, we finally get our first canon Dragons Rising J minifig over here. Evil J, as they call him. This figure is fantastic. One of my favorite Ninjago minifigs ever. I like him a lot better than Rogue, even though Rogue is still a cool minifig. The dark blue and black just reminds me a lot of Possessed Lloyd, and this is the second variant of an evil ninja we've ever gotten. And then if you take that new armor piece off, it's going to be the wolf mask logo on the back. That just looks fantastic. And then it's on the front, and then they're bringing back that light yellow color from the core wave. Continuing on with the villains, Roz, Jordana, and Cinder all return. Roz with 2 minifigs, same with Jordana, and then Cinder only gets 1 in the set wave. Roz looks great, even though it's inaccurate to the show, unfortunately. He was pink, not red. I don't really know what happened there, but again, fantastic minifig, and great to see arm printing return. He really is coming into his own. He looks much more like an animal here than he did with the past couple of waves. And this armor piece is not new. It came in the Crystallized wave of sets with the Crystal King and the Crystal Council and the Crystal Warriors and stuff, but I believe this was a new color for it at the time. Jordana and Cinder introduced this brand new armor piece. Same head and hair for both, but then they have new torsos, legs, and of course, the armor piece here, very interesting. It has the little blood moon symbol if you turn it around, which is on the front for Cinder here. The armor piece looks a little strange to me personally. I think it might have worked better in red. Hint, hint, it does. Jordana, I love all of the updated. She looks very tech-oriented here. Cinder is probably one of my least favorite Ninjago minifigures of Dragon's Rising so far right here. I think the tail looks terrible, the Spectre tail, and then I think the armor piece combined with that, just not a good look for my boy Cinder here. A little bit disappointing. Moving on, this Wolf Mask General only came in the $90 Ninja Combo vehicle. These are updated versions of the ones from the earlier half of the year. This time they're in purple and red instead of blue and black. So interesting change there. Excuse me, blue and purple for the earlier ones in the year. They stick with the same face print, but it doesn't really matter because the mask is covering it. Again, really cool to see this armor in red. I think it works so much better than light gray. I think the whole idea of recoloring the Wolf Mask Warriors with their new Shatter Spin powers is a really cool idea. I love these giant, like, spectral claws that can reach out and just claw at you. Super scary stuff. I wish we had seen more of it in the show because they're literally in 1 episode of the entire season. Plus, you can't really build your army. Again, I bought the whole set wave and I only got 5 Wolf Mask Warriors versus the January wave. I think I got 10, if not more. Anyways, moving on to the rest of the Tournament of the Sources minifigs. These are all from the Tournament Temple City set. We got Blecht and Roby. Great to see those characters represented, even if it is in a very expensive set. They were a big part of the Tournament of Sources. I initially thought Blecht was going to be some kind of elemental master of time that replaced the Time Twins, just because of that watch, the monocle. I don't know, he just gave off those vibes. I really like seeing the Han Solo hairpiece in white here. I think that looks great. Roby, I really like. I think the only thing that's different is I would have given him a different face print. I think he needs more of a chilled out face print. You only get 1 of the temple guards, which I think is probably the biggest flaw with the Tournament Temple City. At least give us 2, because these guys were just, there were so many of them patrolling and guarding in the masses. To only get 1 is just really strange. They reuse the armor piece from the Dragon Form Ninja, and then reuse the city air mask piece from like Sky Police, so interesting there. We finally get Mr. Pale and Tox in minifigure form, released in an Ninjago set, not in an Ultra Agent set. Mr. Pale looks good. I don't love the glasses. I think they're a little bit too big. They looked a lot more streamlined, smaller, cooler on the old one, but I prefer this torso. The money shirt is hilarious, and then I love that the belt is just a minifigure head there. Tox looks great with this brand new hairpiece. Suits her very well. She's got a very confident smirk here. Yeah, really great to see Tox in a set here. This is just a generic civilian, and then we get Wildfire for like the billionth time. And of course, moving on to the 2025 Ninjago sets, the first figure is Roz here. Roz is not going to be changing his outfit, even though he has done it for Season 1 had a unique outfit. Season 2 Part 1 had a new one, and then Season 2 Part 2 had a new one. So Season 3 Part 1, no new outfit. He's sticking with the same one, except the armor is in black this time instead of gunmetal gray. So I don't mind that personally. It's not a big deal. Lloyd here, if you buy all the sets, you get 4 Stormsuit Lloyds, so pretty interesting. These reuse the Tournament of the Sources armor all in black this time, and then they have these brand new masks here. Very interesting stuff here. The front looks like it's almost like a breathing apparatus, like a little bit of a mask. To survive the storm. I don't really know if that's going to have any meaning in the show. Lloyd really delves into the darker color scheme here, which is the first time we've seen that. And then this is the first time the Dragon's Rising suits have used lime green for him. A lot of people don't like the lime green hands, but personally, I do not mind them a bit. I think it matches the belt color. very nicely. Lego repeated the Dragons Rising Season 1 suit Lloyd, and then just gave him the Season 2 Part 1 mech hood. So a very strange figure here. And then the Tournament of the Source's golden armor. I don't really know why they just gave us this amalgamation of parts. They could have just given us another Stormsuit Lloyd to match, because we're not going to see this in the show. This is not going to be in the show. So interesting there. 4 Stormsuit Kais here. One of them has this exclusive gold hood piece from the spinner set. Kai looks really good. Again, all these suits are using darker colors except for Zane. I really like that. Again, whenever suits use darker colors, it just gives me Possession vibes. Cole here, continuing with the gray. That's always great to see. I love gray on Cole. And then the regular orange color, I still prefer the brighter orange. That's something like the Island Cole uses, but this looks fine to me personally. Zane here is using all gray on the mask. I don't know how I feel about that. I think maybe the light blue, like the icy blue, as the accent color instead of gray could have looked a bit better. There's not a ton of gray in the torso and legs to kind of match the mask. That's my only problem with this figure. Personally, get another one of him with no hood and a hairpiece, and then you get 2 shirtless Zanes. This one here being from the Ninjago City Workshops, and then this one coming in the $10 mech set. And if you're wondering what the back of Zane's torso, there you go. And there's the back of that one. He kind of looks like Ultron from the back with these repulsors and power lines going in. And then great to see his core out in front. This is the first time we've ever gotten like a fully shirtless Zane. So this is pretty freaking cool if you ask me. And then just reusing the Stormsuit legs below, which is not a problem at all. 4 Nias in this wave. 3 of them with the mask, 1 of them with the hood. Again, very interesting to see some gold worked into her design here. You don't see that too often. The gunmetal gray and aqua still standing strong though. Sadly, no crimson mixed in here, but it is what it is. Sora here does not get a new suit. The only new thing about her in this wave is her new mask piece here. So this is the Stormsuit mask piece just in gold and white. So it is unique to her minifig, but the torso, legs, and face are all things we've seen from Season 1 and Season 2. I don't know why Lego insists on reusing that. And then this time they didn't even give her a hood in the Thunderfang set. They just gave her the Season 1 armor and then the hairpiece that fits her. 2 more Wildfires here. Like, come on, man. Really? Can we get a new Wildfire minifigure, please? She's had the same one for quite a while now. Pixel returns here. This is a big one for fans, myself included. I'm so happy to see Pixel back using that same hairpiece, but the face print is new this time around. Swap that around. She's got a printed mask underneath. That's a really cool concept. Always loved the idea of printed masks in Ninjago. Just very unique. Using the same colors as seen from before. Just kidding, I lied. It is still red and white, but they take away the blue and replace it with like a very light lavender color. I think that makes her stand out way more. She doesn't look like an American flag anymore, so I appreciate that. I do kind of wish at least one of the versions had included like an actual samurai helmet for her, because she has the samurai logo printed onto her torso, but to not have a helmet to give her is a little bit disappointing. Just my opinion though. I guess I can just give her one of the older Samurai X helmets. Aaron here, thank God, gets a new minifig. So Sora's suffering, but at least Aaron gets a new figure here. New torso and legs, and this really matches the darker vibe of the character. Again, new colors for this mask piece here. I just wish we had gotten a new face print, because I don't think Aaron's going to be smiling a whole bunch in this season. He looked pretty upset at the end of the Tournament of Sources. So to have to continue to use just this face print of him being all happy is pretty weird. Bringing in this, like, I don't know, bright looking fuchsia color looks really interesting. We don't really see much of that in Ninjago, so it gives this Aaron a unique twist. And then I love the black shawl draped over his arm, and I think it looks even better with the older Season 1 mask and hood piece here. The hood piece is in a new color, and that dark black and gold looks really, really good. So great to see Aaron have a fantastic new minifig. We got another Ryu mold here for some reason, even though he's all grown up in the show. But I guess if you didn't already have Ryu and you got the 4+ set, boom, you have one. We got the Ryu piece in a brand new color, this Keep Orange and Brown here. Really love that. I hope we get more Baby Dragon colors in the future, because I think this looks really, really solid. I know it's a bright color, which makes it look even better in my opinion. And that's right. Look, oh my goodness, what a shot this is. The return of Moro. And then we finally got Casual Harumi and Twitchy Tim, 2 of the most desired minifigs that have been fans have been asking for years. Moro getting his return is great. This looks like what LEGO would have done if they did a Legacy Moro. Even if he's not in the show, I'm so glad they at least included him. Love seeing all the sand green mixed with the forest green. And then I think the face print is really the best part of this minifig, because you have this face print. This looks like an older, more aged version of Moro. And then you can see him just go in full ghost mode with those really creepy possessed eyes on the back. That looks so good to me. And then I love the idea of a translucent arm for him as well, especially because they took away the whole translucent leg thing and translucent face, instead opting to go for this spring green, which I think makes him look a little bit more aged. But yeah, really love the return of Moro. He's my favorite Ninjago villain, so to get a new Moro figure, I just couldn't be happier. Moving on, and speaking of couldn't be happier, here is Casual Harumi in all her glory. Oh my word, we waited 7 years for this minifig and for LEGO to finally give her to us. I'm so happy. They had to bring back this hair piece here. I'm sure that was very expensive. Same with the hood piece here. I've not seen that in any sets. And then they went the extra distance and gave us a new face print as well. Love the evil face on the back. I do wish she had leg printing, but I'm sure it was expensive to bring back these two parts here. So I understand they probably had to budget cut there. Same with Twitchy Tim. Wish he had leg printing, but it's not a huge deal. I think he looks fine without it. So good to get this character. He was very prominent in the island. I love this very scared face on the back. It matches the character perfectly. And so, as someone who's a huge fan of the Wild Brain era, getting a new Wild Brain character that we've been wanting makes me so happy. Can we please get the Upley next? Anyways, Dr. LaRoe, I don't really care for. She looks weird without a leg print, in my opinion. And this being the character they chose, I mean, there's so many other minifigs we could have gotten, like Dr. Julian, one of the Upley. I don't know. Dr. LaRoe just seems like a weird choice. I know she's more recent. We've seen her in the show, but they went back and did Casual Harumi, so I don't know. And something like Dr. Julian is much more important to the lore of Ninjago than Dr. LaRoe here. But overall, she is a good minifig. Not bad. I just think a leg print would have helped. Continuing on with the Ninjago City Workshop minifigs, right in the middle here, 3 generic civilians. This one is just some of the most common LEGO parts you can get. I think this is a brand new leg print here, which I really appreciate that if it is. If not, it's still pretty solid. The dual molded hair and hat piece looks really good. Same over here, you get the dual molded beanie with the blonde hair. That's a newer piece, so good to see that there. This face print could be used for a custom Sally if you wanted. And then the torso is not as common as something like the construction jacket or the sweatshirt we just saw. This is a Dragonian tourist. So the Dragonians are the new like villain army of season 3, part 1. So to see one just in like a sweatshirt or like button up coat here, I think is really funny. I think that's a good idea. I'm glad they did that. I know that was just meant to be a joke and I do appreciate it. And then the final 2 figures from the workshops, I guess if you even want to call this a figure, but we have Dorama and his puppet here. The articulation on the puppet is actually insane. I mean, there's so many different poses you can do with this guy. These are stickers, of course, but they're fairly easy to apply, so not a big deal there. But yeah, the articulation on this thing is crazy. And then I am happy we got Dorama. He is a big part of the show, even though I don't really care for his character. He doesn't have a leg print in the show, so that's not a big deal, but he is missing his iconic glitter all over his suit. I don't know if that's something LEGO could even do, but it's just something you're going to notice when it's such a key part of his character in the show. Now, here's Evil J Part 2. This is Rogue. He has a brand new hat piece here that I'm sure we'll see return in summer for Kerr or Rox. Underneath, he also has a brand new face print, because it would have been open on the back and you would have seen his other alternate face with the hat on like that. But this is just a fairly upset Jay, but he's not like raging or anything. So I like that. This is the first time seeing crimson red on a Jay suit. We never really see tan like that with this up here. I don't know, just looks very unique and different, and I appreciate it for that. Nowhere near as good as the initial Evil J figure, but still a very solid minifigure in my book. We finally get some members of the Forbidden Five. Not all of them quite yet. We're still waiting on Kerr and Rox to come in the summer wave, but here's Noct. This is the cape from the Bone King I was talking about earlier. I gave it to Noct because that is accurate to the show. He comes with an armor piece in the sets, but he does have a cape in the show. I love the look of all the Forbidden Five members here. This is Drix. You get 2 of them in the middle. And then Zarkt over here only comes in the Arc Dragon of Focus, but he'll be coming in more sets in the summer. brand new mask, hat, whatever you want to call it. And then he has a really creepy face print underneath like that. Good stuff. Love that print. The attention to detail is great. And then his eyes kind of peek out of the mask like that. Can't wait to get more Forbidden 5 minifigures this summer. And then this is your army of the set, the Draconian Warriors. They introduce a brand new armor and headpiece. So the way this works is this just clips in, fits together so well, and it looks like a dragon mouth right there. And what you can do is, I'm gonna have a little bit of trouble with this just because this armor piece is very hard to, there we go. So there's fire coming out. You can make it literally look like a dragon mouth is breathing fire. So that's a pretty cool idea there. This one here is different from all the others. He has like these long horns in the back. He came in the Arc Dragon of Focus. All the rest of them have the smaller horns. I don't really love this villain faction. I think the whole idea of the dragon face made with the armor and the helmet there is a really cool idea. I just don't care for the color scheme. They look very similar to some of the lava monster villains from Nexo Knights. And then the whole idea of the mohawk piece, I don't love on these guys either. I think it just looks kind of goofy. But yeah, that's the Draconian army. And with the Draconian army out of the way, we have our final 2 minifigures here. These ones I saved for the very end because they don't exist yet. These are Future Jay and Future Nia. One of these is clearly much better than the other, Future Jay, because he actually has a new face print, denoting that he has aged. I love the eye patch. And then the side arm and leg printing, just an insanely well-detailed minifig. Nia over here, I appreciate the new torso and legs, but the fact that they didn't, at the very least, give her some kind of gray hair piece, if not a new face piece, would have been perfect as well, because we see in the future reflections of the ninja that she does in fact age and get wrinkled and have gray hair. Who would have thought? But yeah, a very weird figure. But again, the reason I saved these 2 for the end is solely because these figures are the final in the timeline, because they're in the future. And just like that, that is going to wrap up my look at every LEGO Ninjago minifigure in my collection. The stuff I'm showing you right here is just from the final base plate alone. I'm going to show you where all of the other figures are in just a sec and how I store them. But yeah, crazy that this big pile of figures, just one out of the 6 base plates we took a look at today. This is how I store my Ninjago minifigures over here. I keep them all in separate little containers. This one is all Legacy, as you can see. This here, all Possession. Skybound. We got some Seasons 1 stuff over here. Seasons 2 and 3. Tournament of Elements, and so on. I have to organize all the rest from the other base plates. But yeah, lots of Ninjago minifigs. Crazy that when this thing is all full, it's going to be over 1,000 Ninjago minifigures just stored in this little container section alone. Once again, thank you so much for watching. We went through 6 full gray base plates, over 1,000 Ninjago minifigures in my collection. Hope you enjoyed this look at them. And if you want to see me continue to update this video throughout the years as I get more Ninjago figures, let me know down in the comments. And let me know your favorite Ninjago minifigure of all time. Mine would definitely be Possessed Lloyd. Just an all-timer for me. Anyways, I'll catch you all in the next video. And thank you one more time for watching.